Welcome everybody. What's going on? It's Monday night. It's time for the weekly live stream. The 8th of the 9th. Special guest on today. We're going to be doing a Q&A. Pressure washing Q&A. I think predominantly aimed at new starters. So get your silly questions out. Get them locked and loaded. Get them ready to go. Darren's going to be joining us from PWS. Evening Sean. Evening Dino. Gleamguard, welcome. Will he ever get a decent watch? How dare you? This is the Casio. This is the premium Casio. Waterproof. Water resistant. I love this watch. How dare you? David, welcome. Dauntless. I've seen his Snapchats, Facebook and more. Lee, welcome. Let's actually start with Cedar's welcome. Let's actually start with us getting an idea of whether people are busy or not. I think that's a good thing for us to be doing at the beginning of every live stream, because I have a slightly warped perspective of the industry at the moment, because we obviously do all the YouTube and the TikTok and whatnot, and I understand that everyone's not doing that. And so while I'm nice and busy, I appreciate not everyone is in the same fortunate position. So it's a good idea, I think, to get an idea of where everyone else is in the same. Oh, there's me. Let's do a little vote. Poll. Are we busy? Yes, no, average. Right, vote. Vote, everyone. Feeders, welcome. Revive and refresh, welcome. Off for a wee, then I'll be on. Darren, welcome. Matt, how you doing, mate? Can we start by congratulating Matt? Can you check your mic? I think you're using a different source. Oh, it's like a webcam. Oh no! Thanks for letting me know. Let's have a little look. Oh, you're absolutely right. There it is. Does that sound any better? Is that crispy clear? Is that nice? Thank you for letting me know. Really struggling for work, Gleamguard. I've had nearly 14 days off with one thing or another. Can't wait to get back. Nice. Yeah, it's you feel like you're just sort of sitting on your hands, don't you, when there's nothing you can do. I've had a bit of a issue with weather recently, and it's a couple of days we've had to just call off, and it's just been very, very annoying. Matt's joined the Uncleanables Discord. He's a traitor. How dare he? Thank you for feeding me this information, Dauntless. How do you know that, Dauntless? How do you know that, mate? Can we all just start by congratulating Matt? We had a little meeting, Q&A session. Matt had some questions about social media stuff, so I jumped on a little call with him earlier in the week, and I've given him some homework to see if he can up his social media game a little bit. And I'll give him some little tips, some little pointers, some stuff that I like to do. And within a day of posting this new little reel that he's done, he's pushed himself out of his comfort zone, and he's like, so the task was basically post more regularly. So I've looked through his social media stuff, there's just not enough posts on there, and start making some video content, even if it's just before and afters in a slideshow, but with a voiceover. And he's done it. He's posted a video on the 7th, which was yesterday, and he's already got work from it. He's already got a gutter clearing job from it. So let's play the video. because I think to come up with this overnight, post it, and then to turn that into actual work is pretty cool, I think.
I've come back.
Whoop. This isn't easy to do, by the way. It's like takes a lot of. Have a bit of this.
Back to this property that I pressure washed about a year ago. The customer likes me to pop along every 6 months to apply the biocide. For this, I use Backclear Pro 50 from Pure Seal and I mix it into the iCade Multi Pro 12 sprayer. With a bit of PPE on, we're good to go. The biocide keeps the surface clean and helps prevent moss and other organics from forming. It keeps the patio looking fresher for longer. The customer also applies their own weed killer between my visits, which keeps everything nicely under control all year round. I've come back to this property.
How about that then? So some key points. We've got, this isn't probably the best example because it's slightly different on Instagram, but we've got a caption. We've got an emoji on Instagram. I think emojis do slightly better. We've got some hashtags. He's also tagged a couple of suppliers as well. How long is it? 31 seconds. So I learned the other day that the shorter the video, the better your chance of getting like good retention on it. So I'm generally posting 1 minute 30 on all platforms, and I haven't really diverted from that. So I might start trying shorter videos to see how they perform. So let's have a look. 38% of us are average with regards to busyness. 32 say yes, and 29 say no. So I think this is we're on the incline. We're definitely getting busier by the looks of things. Because basically everyone was saying that they were quiet before. So that's a nice trend, isn't it? The Discord's full of traitors. Oh, don't tell me that. It's raining 1 week straight in Sweden. Kind of messed up the sanding. Yeah. I've had to. Jakey's been away today. I had actually planned on having the day off today, but it's like this morning was like the only dry day that I'd be able to get back and do the hard setting sand on this job. And it's like a 3 hour round trip, and so I've already been there once. Me and Jakey already went to do the cleaning portion. And then I've had to, travel another 3 hours today just to go back there and do the hard setting sand. Someone in the Discord, I think it was Keystone, we were having a chat earlier. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Keystone. He asked how much I charged to do that 3 hour round trip twice. And I want to know if you guys think this is reasonable. I charged £120 on top of my regular prices, basically. So it was pressure wash, chemically treat and resand, £4.50 per square metre. And then I think the hard setting sand, materials and application was about 200 quid. And then I charged £120 extra to do 2 visits, 3 hour round trips. What do you guys think of that kind of money on that job? Do you think the travel is justified? Do you think I could have pushed the travel a little bit more? Because to be honest, I didn't feel like I didn't lose any money, but it just didn't feel worth it. And Keystone and Matt said that it was too cheap. So I'm just curious. I'm always worried about putting people off with my travel price. I get a bit weird about charging for travel. But I could be in my hometown potentially doing a more expensive job and only having to go around the corner. So it's like time versus these people wanted us. I think they'd found us on either YouTube or Facebook, and they clearly wanted us to come and do the job, and so they were prepared to pay it. But just wondering if you guys would have gone a bit higher with the travel cost. Check your videos because I've upped my game meme style. Oh my god. Are you sure you want me to look? Because some of your recent videos have been questionable to say the least. Yeah, I watched that latest one and I don't like it. Don't like it one bit. Matt's changed. Matt is just like overnight since we had that conversation. He's now an influencer, and he twerks and he sings. He sings and twerks. So that's fun. A side of Matt I never thought I'd see. Do you get quite a lot of leads from your social media? Yes, all of. I'd say probably 70% come from social media, 15% through Google, and maybe like 5% through YouTube. Does that make 100? I miss Washi. Washi's here. Priced my third power washing job today. Nice. What were your thoughts on Nexus jointing product? Thinking about trying it. Is it worth the hype? I think so. Although I had a chap on Facebook yesterday say his didn't set hard and it just washed out the joints. And I had another chap call me today saying he's done 900 square meters. The same sort of time as this other guy did. It didn't set hard and it washed out the joints. 900 square meters. So I don't know what's happened there. But I said to the both of them, like I've used this product over 30 times now and it's been absolutely bang on every time. It's been perfect. So I like it. It might have been just a bad batch maybe. I don't know. Bad weather conditions. No idea. 45p per mile for travel usually. Honestly, I don't think it's quite enough. You've lost half of that in fuel for 6 hours when you could have got more money. Yeah, and that first journey was me and Jakey in the van as well, so it's like two people's time. The rap video, would you consider that rap? Oh, that was you, Juan. I don't know how to say that word. Sorry, I don't know how to say your name. I'm butchering it. Anyway, should we see if Darren's about? I think he probably is. Let's have a little sticky beak, shall we? Darren! Oh, my Discord is playing up. It's not letting me drag the window. I might need to close, force quit, and bring it back up again. Juan. Pronounce Juan. 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 I feel like I'm still not quite getting it right. I'm sorry. They probably didn't wet it enough time, so it only sat on the very top. The rain washed it out. I thought on the first occasion it was probably user error because it was the first time this chap's used it. But then the second one, I mean, it sounded like they'd follow the instructions to the T, so it's hard to say. I drenched the joints. Like I missed it first just to set it in place and just to make sure it's where I want it to be. And then by the time I've done the fourth pass, I'm literally like drenching it. Millhouse, welcome. The family are very good. Sophie's on holiday at the moment, and I feel like a single parent. It's very tough. This last like 3 or 4 days has been a bit of a struggle. So newfound respect for single parents. Got my first oil stain next week. Recommend chemicals. You could either go for the no nonsense. Well, it depends on what surface it is, but are we assuming like it's block paving maybe? No nonsense degreaser from Screwfix. It's a nice easy local one that you can get. Pure Seals Synergy. And then if you've still got ghosting left over, you might want to have a look at Pure Seals Oil Clear Pro. Let's have a look. Discord. Hey, that's worked. It didn't set it all completely soft all the way through. 4 light mists. Who's bringing the coffees? I've had to pre-make a coffee myself. Can you believe it? I did it by myself. The chat has gone from the board. What? I'm actually just going to change my microphone settings so that it comes through the webcam, so that I'm not sharing the microphone. Because I think that's shafted me in previous input device. Okay. Okay. Here he is. Okay. Okay. Hello.
Oh, hello.
How you doing?
I'm alright, mate. Long time.
I know.
Taking a bit of time to load.
Let me see. Oh, I've just realised you might not get my camera today because I'm not. I think last time we did this, I was on the laptop, and I had the little laptop webcam that I could use, but it's trying to share both cameras at the minute, and I don't think that's going to work. So we might have to free willy it.
I'll wing it off the YouTube feed.
How have you been?
Holiday, mate. That's how I've been. How have you been?
I've been alright. I joined the gym, so I'm feeling quite body positive. You've been doing a lot of squash and stuff, haven't you, as well?
I've done one night at badminton club.
One night, ever.
Friday. I had August, but I went on holiday at the start of August, family holiday, to Rhodes. That's when we last chatted. And then I went back for a week, and then I had the end of August off doing memory adventures with the girls. So I had a week kicking around up Scotland. We went to see AC/DC with the 12-year-old Fringe Festival and some of that business. And then last week, went the Ring and Phantasialand and a bunch of other stuff.
I saw that video. Some guy went off in front of you at the Nürburgring. I bet that was well scary.
You know what, mate? Just go. You're a petrol head. Just rent a car when you're there and go and do it.
I'd be terrified, to be honest.
Come when I go and I'll take you around.
All right.
That's scary, you know.
Let me know when you next go, and we'll do that. Has Darren had a haircut? I swear,
No, it's actually quite long.
You look different every time I see you. By the way, it's either your hair or your beard, and you've clearly lost a lot of weight as well. So congrats on that.
Me, I've shifted 30. I've just rolled 30 kilograms. Lost.
Really?
Since April.
How many bags of sugar is that?
I'm doing it in kilograms so I can walk into the unit and like pick up a 20 litre and go, well, that's 20 kilograms. And I can pick up a couple of 5 litres and pop 2 more on top.
Nice. So today we're going to be doing, this was your idea, and you suggested we should do like a Q&A, predominantly aimed at like new starters and stuff, and just basic questions.
Tell you where it came from. The other week I tuned in as a regular viewer. Keep up the stats. Got to keep you monetized and all of that. And I saw that loads of questions in the questions that you've been asked in the chat. I would have said that particular night there seemed to be a lot of the real, I'm going to just say basic, simple questions, like the newbie style questions. There seems to be like, I don't know if that's been the case since. That was a couple of weeks ago. But there was a load of questions that were newbie related. So I thought, you know what? Why not hop on, do a Q&A all the way from the absolute basics all the way through. So any question, no questions too silly. I brought props.
Mm-hmm. I wonder if Matt's about to. Maybe Matt can filter some of the questions so that we can get. Because in the past, Matt's helped with, like, if we get repeat questions, he just sort of puts them to one side because we've already answered them. And if we get some, like, there's a lot part of the chat. Can you see the chat today?
Yeah, I can see the chat. So I've got you up on YouTube here on this screen.
Yeah.
And then I've been doing some work, and you're up on that one over there as well.
Perfect. So.
Although muted.
Quite often we get like a lot of conversation between themselves, and so there's a lot of messages to get through before we actually find the questions, and so maybe Matt can help us filter some of the questions out, and he can. Maybe you can. You DM me or something, Matt. Where should we put these questions? Can I bring Matt into this call and mute him, and then we can see the text?
Do whatever you want, mate.
Matt,
easy.
Let me know what you think's going to be easier, Matt, and we'll figure it out.
He's just put he can take questions and then DM them to you, so you can ask me the questions directly.
Sounds good.
Shall we do some of the hellos down the chat first, and then we'll pull out some props?
I'm intrigued as to what sort of props you're going to pull out. This could get weird.
Whoa!
It's got weird in the past, actually. I remember you pulled out a little elephant. What was that little elephant you had?
That was aftershave, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's it.
Just Iron Man mug tonight. Chat's clean. Head straight. I've got my filter on, so we're not going to get you demonetized tonight. I've got no music playing on in the background. There's going to be no C-bombing, nothing like that. I'm going to be completely clean. Make sure this is a pristine earner for you, mate. Because I'm concerned you've only got half a t-shirt on.
Yeah, it's
next week you'll be having a crop top on.
Times are getting tough. I've had to cut the sleeves and reuse the sleeves on a different thing. So Elgin says, when would you decide to use the hardening sand over kiln dried? Mainly when the customer can afford it, and it's always a nice little upsell. So it's always something, especially on block, well, obviously only on block paving. If you can, suggest it to the customer, because it's great value for their money, and it's a nice little upsell for you. Can we run a poll for Sausage Fest date this evening? Absolutely. Darren, are you still considering hosting a Sausage Fest?
Yeah, no, it's on. Second or third weekend in October. So either 11, 12 or 18, 19. All we need to know is Saturday or Sunday.
Okay.
It's on. I've got a bunch of other dealers, distributors, relevant people. So it's going to be a little bit of a show and tell, not only for you guys with your vans, which is what it was meant to be. Because if you remember, it started as Sausage Fest was meant to be coffees and cars, but vans and washes, wasn't it? And last year it manifested into something a little bit more. It's going to be very similar to last year, but I'm going to have a couple of other gazebos up with a couple of other traders there with different stuff. They can come down, showcase what they do, try and make it a bit more interesting for those guys that have come. I've just been reading one of the chats from Dauntless.
Have you got a bit more room in the unit this year? In case it does hammer it down? Like we've got...
Since I've got the barn, we've got loads of room in the unit.
Sweet. So you'd be able to fit more people indoors maybe, and perfect.
Oh, yeah. Definitely. I've gone with hot chocolate tonight, by the way, not coffee. Orange flavoured in my Velveteer. What are you going for? Coffee, Jake?
I've got a black coffee, 2 scoops of black coffee with 1 big scoop of sugar. And then I've got in my bottle here, I've got a big bottle of water with a Aldi mango vitamin tablet diluted into it. So, a bit of Volvic.
Bit of Volvic. Right. Okay.
Question. Hello there from the USA. Welcome. I'm 18, doing an apprenticeship, but trying to build my pressure washing business at nights and the weekends, and I've run out of jobs. Do you think door-to-door will work? Absolutely. I think door-to-door is the number one starting point for anyone who's quiet. It's free. Yes, it's time-consuming, but it works. If you've got any sales skills whatsoever, you can land a decent amount of jobs by knocking people's door. I personally don't like it. Darren, what do you think when someone comes to your door and gives you a knock and says, "Can I sell you something?"
Luckily, I'm at work all week, and so's Sonia, so there's nobody in. So if you knock on our door, you won't get to speak to anybody. I appreciate door-to-door does work. Me personally, I find it a bit I think crass is the word I want to use for it. I find it a bit, I don't know. It's got such a bad reputation door to door as that me personally, I don't think I would trust anybody that had just randomly knocked on my door, regardless of how good or big your business is or who you are. I think that I just don't. It's a me personal thing because I know that door to door works for a lot of businesses. But me personally, I wouldn't take somebody on if they knocked on my door.
Yeah, I think same. Someone knocks on my door and I very politely tell them that I'm not interested. And if they don't listen to me the first time, I will just slowly begin closing the door and say, thank you, thank you, thank you. Because some people are very, they're not very good at hearing no. And they will keep trying to sell you, even though you've made it very, very clear that you're not interested. And I find that very rude. And so I'll just start closing the door.
Oh, just don't answer to them. That's what ring doorbells are for, isn't it?
Yeah.
You look on the ring doorbell, decide who it is, peek round the corner. It's that Peter Kay sketch, isn't it? You know, you get... So you sit on your sofa and go, who's that knocking at the door? And you just speak to each other in the room like, who could it possibly be this time of night? And you stand up and go and see him.
I remember that sketch. I haven't seen Peter Kay in years. I was thinking about him the other day, actually.
I went and saw him live. He's another man that's lost a load of weight.
Oh, really?
Yeah, made me cry on his tour. I assume his tour's finished now, so we can do a spoiler alert. But you know how he talks about his nana a lot, and he does the thing with the tape recorder, you know, where he fast forwards and rewinds on the tape recorder. Mm-hmm. Turns out he used to do that as a kid, and he took some recordings of his nan before she passed. And I'm getting goosebumps talking about it. And he like built us all up in the audience, and then played some of the last clips of his nana talking, saying that she's ready to go and, you know, be happy and all this, and it was really sad.
Oh,
yeah, I've just ruined it now. So a show that should have made you laugh, I ended up laughing and crying at Peter Kay, and then laughing again. I can't imagine it was very easy talking about your nan in a comedy sketch.
Yeah, doing it multiple times as well to multiple different venues.
Yeah, every night.
Tough. Lee says, have you ever experienced discoloration of pavers using hypo? The only experience I've had is a slight chalkiness if you leave hypo down and don't rinse it off. So this was back in the day when I thought I could get away with not rinsing hypo off, and it's just not a good idea for anyone. So I would personally just avoid doing that. With regards to discoloration, just make sure the surface is hypo safe. There's loads of courses out there that you can learn that sort of stuff, and that would be a good starting point for anyone that's new, learning which chemicals work on different surfaces, and which sealers to use, all that sort of stuff. Darren, should you go straight into a 21 litre per minute machine and skip the 15? Is it worth skipping, says Macaulay?
So, loads of factors, isn't it?
By the way, I love this format. This is really good what Matt's doing here. This is perfect. I like it.
So, should you go straight to a 21 and skip a 15? Depends on lots of things, in my opinion. So, if we roll back a few years, the single biggest, most popular seller for cleaning, doing exterior cleaning, was the 15 litre machine. Okay. A couple of reasons for it. One, it was cost, and two, it was the average tap at the average house can just about keep up with a 15 litre a minute machine with a relatively small buffer tank.
Mm-hmm.
So you had less of the issues that some of you guys have getting enough water to your machines. So the 15 litre was the most popular machine, I'm going to say, pre-COVID. COVID seemed to come along, and at the same time as COVID... Yes, mate.
You just got me demonetised. We can't talk about COVID. We can't even say that word.
I didn't swear.
I'm joking. There was a period where you couldn't even say that word on YouTube, else your channel would get demonetised and flagged.
You're going to miss out on £1.70 tonight, Jake.
Yeah. That's a crucial £1.70, that is.
I know. I know. I can only guess where Soph's gone on holiday that you're having to cover the cost for. You must keep her in the life she's accustomed to. That £1.70 will be critical for making sure you can maintain her lifestyle. So, back 5-6 years ago, pre the world changing, 15 litres a minute was a thing. The world changed, and while the world was changing and everybody was sat at home with not a lot to do, exterior cleaning seemed to go through a little party season. And at the same time as it going through a party season, Facebook groups started to grow. The YouTubers started to grow with it. You know, there was a big boom, but the social side of it grew, and people became more aware of it. And at the same time as that grew, to try and differentiate, or I believe that the jump to 21 came from the established companies at the time trying to differentiate themselves between an average company. Okay, and they started buying 21 litre machines, and then it suddenly became, look how big my Todger is. You know, if you haven't got a 21 litre a minute machine, you're nobody, and all that kind of stuff came up. You know, can a 15 litre a minute machine clean as well as a 21? And the answer is yes. It just does it slower.
And it's it's not even a huge jump, is it? In from what I've noticed in terms of time frame, it's not a massive jump.
It's not huge.
Because if you were to consider like a 15 250 versus a 21 200, we're talking about two different pressure limits there. And sometimes, especially with block paving and stuff, pressure is like quite a huge contributing factor as to how fast you can get the surface clean.
I think that the particular point that you just chose, the 15250, that sits on the same engine as a 21.2, so that sits on like a GX390 Vanguard size engine. So there's no cost difference between a 15250 and a 21.2.
Mm-hmm.
So if it was to be a 15150 or a 15200, you'd have a smaller engine and the machine would be a cheaper machine.
Yeah.
Not much cheaper, a couple £100 maybe, because the 390 size engine is disproportionately cheap compared to all of the other engines in the range because of the volume of engines that are constantly being sold at that size.
All right.
And if you imagine that there isn't much difference in the pump costs, maybe up to 30 or 40 quid. So there isn't a huge difference, but depending on what you've got now, depending on what your future plans are, a 15 litre machine in your arsenal that's a quality one that you're going to keep for a long time, that you may also keep as a backup machine or a second machine after you jump again when you've earned more money, wouldn't be a waste of money.
Do you feel like, Darren just made a good point in saying that for me it's the rinsing, not so much the cleaning, so you can put a higher volume of water down with a 21 litre per minute machine, so the rinsing is much quicker, which is a good point. That's where the speed
comes from, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? That's part of the job. The rinsing down afterwards, the flushing away. It's part of why your machine with 30 litre, yours 30 litre, isn't it?
Yeah.
Your V-twin. When you crank that up and get the full volume out, you get an even faster clean than the 21.
Yeah, it's putting that machine on full revs, turning the needle valve all the way up, and putting a black soap nozzle on that, one of those black soap nozzles you gave me. The amount of water that comes out that thing is insane. You can if you've just got, we've been doing a couple of tarmac rinses recently where we're just doing like builders rinses where we're not cleaning, we're just literally shifting the muck off the top. It's so quick. We'd literally be there less than 10 minutes from pulling up to packing away, providing you've got enough water flow from the customer's tap or a big enough buffer tank where you can actually get that volume of water out consistently. Would you say that the jump is inevitable? Would you say that you can build an established business off of a 15 litre per minute machine, or do you think once you've got a 15, you're always eventually going to upgrade to a 21 or higher. Do you know anyone that runs a full-time pressure washing business with a 15250, for example?
Loads.
Really?
Yeah. Make no mistake. There's people that buy it the high Hyundai size, the 15275, and never go bigger, ever.
Right.
And I've got bunches and bunches of customers throughout the years that have stayed at that size.
And are these predominantly just pressure washing businesses? They're not window cleaners that occasionally offer pressure washing.
No, these are I would say a reasonable portion of them are people that don't want to move to having bigger buffer tanks. They've got quite often smaller vans, like the much smaller vans. So they're operating with like the pop-up style
hose reels,
buffer tanks.
Oh yeah.
And so that type of thing. But no, they stick to it.
Yeah, I think there's also something to be said for like if you depending on what vehicle you're running out of. If you're running out of a car, for example, you might want to consider one of the little carry machines where you keep it under about 13 litres per minute and you just don't need a buffer tank. And that is a massive space saving in your vehicle. Not only the size of the machine, but all the accessories that you don't need, all the extra hoses and stuff that you just don't need to carry around with you. I suppose if space isn't an issue and you've got the budget for it, 21 or higher is probably a good move, really. Would you agree?
I mean, it's a big after 21. So after the let's ignore pump size for a minute. Let's talk engine size, right? So the limiting factor to any of the pump sizes is the engine that you fit it with. There's a stopping point at the 13-14 horsepower with that size engine, and once you go from that size engine to the V twins, the next size up, it's a big monetary cost difference. So there is. It's a big jump from the Chinesey small Wolf type, name your brand, whatever it is, small little ones. It's a big jump from them to a quality pickup or 15-litre machine. It's then a relatively small jump from that to a 21. Too.
You offer a 19 as well, don't you? Which is probably quite a nice middle ground. You still do that one?
No, the pump itself is a 21-litre, 275 bar pump, but the engine that it's fitted to in that configuration won't actually power it at that horsepower.
Oh, right.
So we have to downshut it and run it at 19 litres a minute, 220 bar. We've just, I haven't come on doing upside, but we've just had a bigger engine arrive, a much bigger single cylinder. It's like 500cc single cylinder engine that's 15 horsepower that runs that pump at 21 litres a minute, 275 bar. And it's a budget engine that we've been able to put on we basically put it on the core frame, which gives you the extra. So it's all about horsepower to then what pump you can fit to it.
Sounds good. Hope that answers your question, Macaulay. Question to Darren: would you be open to building a version of the Marshall Air? I know it's a run off a Briggs and Stratton engine with an air compressor. Not sure if you're aware of it.
There's only one person that can build a Marshall Air, and that's Pete Marshall.
What makes you say that?
Very simple. No, hear me out. In the configuration that it's done, so Marshall Air is built by Pete Marshall. That's his thing, that's his baby. Is there a likelihood that we will be doing a petrol-driven air compressor machine that falls in line with what we do? I would very much expect to see one of them coming out, not just for myself, but other manufacturers as well, because where there's a demand, we'll all put our own twist on it and we'll do it. Will it be the same as the Marshall Air? No, because that's Pete's baby. Will it work on a similar principle? Yes, I'd expect so. So I would assume that there will be a few different versions of that type of cleaning equipment appear.
I think any innovation in this industry gets very quickly picked up by other suppliers, and everyone puts their slight different twist on them.
Yeah, I'm not. I'll only do it if I get asked to do it. So this isn't something that I feel compelled to go out and develop, but I have already been asked quite a lot if I could do a version that fits in with our ecosystem. So people that have got our kit already, so it fits in with it. And in that instance, I would do an air compressor that you could use with those accessories. So yes, and as you'll see, there's somebody already directly copied what Marshall have done and released one out and about.
I've seen someone was supplying the blades for them. I didn't know if they'd got their hands on the rest of the kit.
Yeah. So I haven't got. So although we do lots of manufacturing, to make some of the attachments for it, I'll need to either outsource a CNC in or buy a CNC machine to make the bits out of billet alloy. And I haven't got that. I'm not really geared for that. So while I might be interested in doing the guts of it, accessory side, probably wouldn't bother touching.
The bin cleaner says, Darren, how's the wheelie bin cleaning going?
I get funny story. We finished it 2 years ago. Now it's 2 years this year.
I didn't even know. I know you had a chap in a green van that was doing wheelie bin cleaning. Was that part of PWS?
No, we did it under a different name. It was Festa, so we did it under wheelie clean bins.
Festa, that was it.
It started by accident. We built some equipment that we needed to put some hours on. It made sense to bolt it into a van. We had the van painted the same colour as the equipment. We were going to use it as a demonstrator. He went out on the road. We cleaned some bins because it was easy work to find without stamping all over the feet of our existing customers. We did it for free. We did it for like 3 months for free, cleaning local wheelie bins so we could actually use this machine to death. We packed it in because it was a road test exercise. And as we were packing it in, people were like, oh, can we pay for it? Can we pay for it? Can we pay for it? We keep doing it. And Festa give it a go for a bit. I mean, it's a bit old news. It's 4 years ago now we did it. He did it for 2 years. We got busy. I needed another man back at work. So we decided to knock it on its head. And I split and sold the kit.
Cool.
As simple as that.
Simon says, do you think flyers would work? I think flyers are, if you've got the time or if you've got someone that can post them out for you, if you've got a good flyer that really advertises your business well, nice and clear, I think they can work well, providing you can put the volume out. I think some people think, oh, I'm going to put, 250, 300 flyers out this weekend, and they don't get a single call. You need to be looking at thousands, especially on for your first time as well. You're probably going to want to iterate on the leaflet. I've gone through probably 4 different leaflet designs, and I don't even use leaflets that much. But there's people that have built their whole businesses off putting flyers out, so they definitely work. And I think they're probably more accessible and slightly better than knocking on people's doors, in my opinion. But that's just my opinion. Matt's got a question for both Darren first. If you could restart PWS or Smelt, what would you do differently? What would you avoid altogether, and why?
Do you want to go first?
I could. I thought about it. I pre-read this as you were talking, and I've just had a quick think about it. And honestly, hand on heart, I wouldn't do anything differently. I was thinking, would I have skipped all that cheap equipment that I bought and gone straight for the good stuff? No, because that taught me a very valuable lesson. Would I have employed Jakey sooner? Would I tried to find an employee earlier on? Probably not, because again, that taught me a very valuable lesson about the impact an employee can make on your business. And I think I've been very patient with every decision I've made that contributes towards this business. I've thought about things sometimes for over a year before actually pulling the trigger on anything. And I think that's served me quite well so far. And so there's maybe a couple of jobs that I would have done differently. Some of the early jobs that I'm not very proud of, but other than that, I'd say no, probably. How about you?
I would. See, I like what I've done, but I spent a lot of time in the middle doing contract work. So at one point in time, we were doing over 1/3 of England's ambulance stations. So we was repairing the wash bays in over 1/3 of England's ambulance stations throughout the country. And that contract work, it wasn't just for the ambulance. So we also did police, we did council. We still do police, we still do council. But we were doing lots of it, lots and lots and lots of it. And being stuck in that. The thing with commercial work is it's regular, but it's never. It's the same problem for me as it is for you guys. It's regular work, usually off season to everybody else, because they want it doing competitively, so you do it when you can. But you're never really going to make any proper money out of it. And I spent probably half of the time I've been trading, so 10, 12 years, heavily focused on those contracts. And although it paid the wages, we grew to a point.
Stagnated
and
a
then
little bit.
Now we're completely stagnated for 5 or 6 years. Completely stagnated all the way through. So I think that if I was to do it again, I would, if I took those contracts on again or did stuff like that again, I would make sure that somebody was employed to do that for me. And I could continue developing other aspects of the business.
Can I ask you, when you're traveling out to these sites to do the maintenance on these like ambulance stations and stuff, what sort of, I hope it's not a personal question, what sort of money are you charging for the travel? Or is that just included in their package, or how does that work?
I
can imagine it's like all over the country, presumably.
Yeah, with them, it was flat rate including their contract. So they'd pay anything from, now bearing in mind this was before the world went crazy with prices, they'd be paying anything from 150 quid to how quickly they wanted us there to, let's say, 800 quid.
And would that be specifically outlined, or would that just be included in the price? Would it be?
No. So they had response rates. So they would put in a 48-hour call out, or a 24-hour call out, or an 8-hour call out, or a 4-hour call out, and they've got preset prices for those things. The only thing across those contracts is that it was a set price. So even if I went to the one in Stafford, it was the same price as going to the one in Portsmouth,
right?
For example. So sometimes you win, sometimes you lose.
Mm-hmm.
But over the winter time when everything was frozen, I remember there was 3 of us on that contract working for 48 hours solid, literally going around all of the sites, unfreezing them, and you're like, oh, this is good money. But it's not, because you didn't sleep, and then when you got back, you neglected all your other work because you were too tired to do anything else. So you didn't actually gain anything. You know what I mean? It felt like you was, but then the time that you lost, you then lost again, if that makes sense. You didn't end up being up.
I quite like the idea of set prices, and I think that it can be quite powerful if it's used in the right way. It's like quick and dirty quoting, where you don't have to think about it. For a while, we had like a set price for gutter clearing, and it served us quite well. And we just went in with the understanding that it was, you win some, you lose some. You have a set price on gutter clearing, and some houses are going to be tiny, and you'll get them done literally in less than half an hour. And other houses are going to be more technical. It might take you an hour and a half. And it's just a set price. And Go on.
I know it's related because we do the equipment, but the principle is exactly the same.
Yeah.
We charge flat rate for installing the kit in the back of the vans.
Regardless of how technical it is, it's just per hour.
Or no. Flat rate. So we'll go, that's half a day, or it should take half a day. We'll charge you half a day. Even if that ends up being 3 blokes on it for 3/4 of a day, you've still paid the standard half a day. Same with it being a day rate. If we end up working through all the way up and through the night on it, we still charge the same.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll charge you the same if we get it fitted in 20 minutes.
Yeah. I think it's good. I think if you go in with the mindset that you win some and you lose some, no one really loses, because the customer's very clear on what to expect, and hopefully you make it up on the next job if you lose.
Yeah, I mean, with the current climate the way it is, and I don't mean volume of work or anything like that. I just mean everything costs so much more money. The way that we're being leveraged by the government with extra NI, higher taxes, basically the ambush on small businesses that we're going through at the moment. I feel that this is how much it's going to cost. This is how much it needs to cost for us to survive. And if we don't win the business at that, then we're just not going to do it. And you know what? If that means that we end up folding because we don't get enough work, then so be it. We couldn't afford to exist anyway. You know what I mean? It's a completely different mindset. For many, many years when I first started doing this, I was in a protect all cost mindset. You get quiet, you drop your pants, you do some cheap prices, try and keep the money coming in, yada yada. And then all you end up doing is starting a snowball effect of those people expect you to be doing it at that price next time. So if I started doing discounted services, for example, because there's space in the workshop, those people are going to want that discounted price next year. The same as if you come and do my drive and charge me 100 quid because you're quiet, well, when you come next year, I'm going to want the same 100 quid deal, not the 500 quid you'd normally charge.
Yeah.
So it's not worth the snowball. So I've become quite, this last 12 months or so, 18 months, I've become quite matter of fact about that aspect of my business.
I think that's why it's important also to start off on the right foot, because it reminds me of a conversation that we had with Steve Shires, and I said to him, when do you start charging full price as someone totally new to the industry? And he says, what do you mean? I said, when would you start charging customers full price? And he said, well, straight away. I was like, yeah, but you've not got too much experience yet. I mean, you've done maybe a couple of jobs for friends and family. And he says, no, you need to start off on the right foot, because as soon as you do cheap work, you'll always be doing cheap work. And so he says, get your experience doing friends and family, but then as soon as you're competent, you start charging full price immediately, and try and make sure your pricing's right. And I heard a stat the other day, today actually, when I was listening to a podcast, and he said that over 50% of American businesses either break even or are losing money, actively losing money. So you're going to work, working potentially 40 to 60 hours a week, and your business is losing money. You're just making enough to pay the bills, pay the wages. But he said that's why a lot of businesses fail, because they're underpriced. And that was quite eye-opening.
Yeah, I can see it though. I can see the trends. The other thing I have to reassure a lot of people of is we've all seen that cheap person on Facebook advertising any driveway for 25 quid or 50 quid or whatever the current price is. And then you'll get the local cleaners come on, the regular cleaners going, oh no, look at this joker, we're going to have no work now. The actual reality is somebody that was going to pay 20 quid to have the drive cleaned, or 50 quid or whatever it is, was never going to get you to do it to start off with. You've not actually lost anything. What you have gained is the potential to go out after they've done such a bad job for that customer. They'll want to spend proper money and have it done properly next time. The once bitten, isn't it, scenario.
And I'd also like to get something off my chest. We see a lot of this in the Discord, where people are like screenshotting Facebook posts where people are saying, any gutters clearing 20 quid, 25 quid, whatever it might be. And I just think it's a absolutely pointless waste of your time to be focusing on those people. It happens all the time. It's nothing new. It doesn't affect you at all. You think it might, but it doesn't. And it's just a waste of energy. I think if you put as much focus as you're putting on other people's pricing, people taking pictures of other people on roofs and stuff, the whole thing is just like, start focusing on other people and look at what you could be doing better. I think it's these people come and go. They don't last very long, and it's all the equipment that you see on Facebook. How often do you see your equipment on Facebook, by the way? Is it often or not?
My equipment?
Well, when someone's like started a business, they realise it's not as easy as they thought, and they sell up. Do you often see your machines? Because you can't miss them.
No, I've seen loads of green machines. I mean, we've passed something like serial number 2,200 and something. So there's a lot of machines out there over the last sort of, 4 years I've had that serial number rack for. So that's a good number of machines out there. I like it. Makes me feel all warm inside, when I see. It's like, I've been doing a little bit, I've been experimenting with a different type of video at the moment just to re-engage with people, because August came, April came, we got into manic season. I started a few things personally, my weight loss journey, a few other things, and I switched off. So I've done nothing from April till now with video. I started the channel and whatnot, but then did nothing with it. So I've been experimenting. I've sort of come back to work with a clean mind after a good holiday and giving it a go.
It's great. What are you using? Did you say CapCut?
I'm being really lazy and I'm using just the editor on TikTok.
That's great. I mean, it puts the captions up there for you. They're nice and they grab your attention. I'm just going to show an example because I think it's it's nice to see the difference in editing style, and it actually drew me in earlier on, thinking this is different, this is new, this is like,
I wasn't sure whether
I don't think the content's any different. It's just the editing and having the captions at the bottom so you can even watch it when it's muted and you're not missing any information. I think that's huge, and I think it's going to massively drive more engagement. Have you noticed any uptick in engagement on your socials at all?
Our socials are fairly busy anyway, because we do employ somebody to run our socials. So we get quite a lot. I'm noticing that we're just growing in our followers for the video aspects, like the TikToks and the Instagrams. It's pushing our people up on those. Today, I even experimented putting one of these videos out on Snapchat.
Snapchat? I haven't used Snapchat.
Morning, everybody. Bright and early.
But I think this is exactly the direction to go, and I think this is what customers want to see, is more their suppliers showing off and demonstrating the kit, and just clear communication, and also I think clear pricing as well. I was mentioning Nyclean over in Northern Ireland. He's absolutely nailed it. He's nailed the social media stuff. I think AC Pressure Washers are doing a great job on social media with all their videos and stuff. I think it's. I think if you're
video,
say that again.
I love AC's videos. They're always really well produced and funny.
I don't know how they find the time, to be honest. Same with Nyclean. Like to drop everything that you're doing, pick up a microphone and get someone to film you, and then edit it and stuff. It's while you're trying to run a full-time business. I mean, I suppose I can talk, can't I? But it adds. If you're not doing it in 2025, I think everyone needs to be doing it, regardless of whether you're a service business or whether you sell products. I think it's a step in the right direction. Space Pod Studio says, I've got an 18 litre per minute 200 bar diesel It's loud. What do you think to them, Darren?
Exactly that. Diesels are really, really, really loud. I understand their position in the market, and they're convenient, having the same fuel as potentially boilers, and if you're doing agricultural work, you might be able to get hold of different coloured fuel to go in it, and it might be slightly more cost effective to run. But they're loud, heavy, and expensive.
Smoky. Is there anything you can do to silence a diesel engine more than what it is as standard?
Extra exhaust, but if you're on a mobile machine, it's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
The engines themselves are actually noisy as well.
Millhouse says, a question for either. Do you notice there are lower sales, less businesses with the unstable issues ahead? Here in Ireland, there are job losses and such happening in the pipeline. I've noticed that the summer has been quieter. We're around about a good position. We've been in quite a good position all summer. I like it when it goes a bit quieter because it gives me time to breathe. So I would still insist that there's so much money out there to be earned. I think when the economy comes into the conversation, people are always thinking, people aren't spending money on their property anymore and all this, and it's absolute bollocks. It's rubbish. There's people out there. There's so much money out there, and it's just about trying to target your audience and capture it. What do you think? Have you noticed any dips in sales or anything when we get some weird news on the horizon?
It's slightly different for me. So we deal with all businesses. So from your exterior cleaners to food factories to councils to hauliers, slaughterhouses, farmers. We go across the board, right? So we tend to find that when the government is doing weird things, it's probably the easiest way to put it, our corporate customers tend to be slower at releasing their budget for new kit, which means their repair bills go through the roof because they have lots of stuff repaired they don't buy. They hold on to their money to find out what's going on. So I believe at the moment, this doesn't affect the roof cleaning guys, I don't think, but the not globally, but more wider spread, I believe that there is a lot of commercial businesses out there that are concerned with what might happen in the autumn budget, and right at this moment in time, they're not buying kit. They're having everything fixed, and they're slightly on lockdown. Mm-hmm. Domestic customers, on the other hand, the autumn budget may not affect them that much unless their car tax goes up or there's a small tax increase. And I went to B&Q on Sunday because I want to buy a new shower. I want to fit a new shower, so I went to B&Q. The place was full of people with loads of money to spend. Mm-hmm. So you're exactly right. So no, I don't think there's been any. There is a little bit, I think, of the people that probably couldn't afford to have the house clean to start off with, but are just about scraped together to get it done in the past. I think they're the ones that are struggling now. But I think that the people that could always afford to have their house cleaned or their roof cleaned or whatever it is are the same people that could always afford to have their car detailed and ceramic coated and all the rest of it. Those people still exist. They're still out there.
There's probably a trickle-down effect, isn't there? So you said it's mainly like big businesses and corporate stuff that's being affected. Eventually, that will probably trickle down to, wages, staff, cost of living, all that sort of stuff. But I think we've got a while to go before that happens. And yeah, like you say, you still see people everywhere spending so much money on what I would consider luxury services. What's a commodity? Is that the right word? Commodities? Stuff that you don't necessarily need, you just want it. which is the epitome of exterior cleaning most of the time. And
yeah, there's a little bit with domestic people where there was some people that were locked on 1% mortgages, and that's still filtering through now to higher mortgages. So there's a little bit of that still going on. So those that were perhaps on 5-year fixed or 10-year fixed, they're all coming to an end. There's a little bit of that. But I don't think it's massively changed. What I do think has happened is August has come. Everybody's gone on holiday because they're just fed up of being at work because it's too hot. The hosepipe ban's kicking around and people have just gone, nah. And it's been a slightly quieter August, generally all round through every single business I deal with, not just domestically. But then September started, kids went back to school, and it was like the switch back on again. Yeah.
There has been an uptick since like the first week of September. Within a couple of days, we had like 5 new inquiries in one day, which is quite a lot for us, really. Normally it's maybe 1, 2, maybe 3, and then suddenly we've had a big uptick. These are like local inquiries, like qualified ones as well, which is good. Lee says, how do you deal with heavily weeded tarmac abutting block pavers? I find my turbo nozzle just blasts away the aggregate, even on low revs. Not even heavily weeded, just moss. So the issue with weeds, a tarmac drive, and it butts onto a path, like a tarmac path. Sorry, block paved drive, tarmac path. There's an issue there where the weeds that grow along that driveway edge border are destroying the aggregate, destroying the bond between the aggregate and the tarmac. And so any damage caused there, you could argue that wasn't caused by you. You've obviously exacerbated it with the pressure washer. But what we tend to do, if it's really bad and it's obvious, is we get down on our hands and knees with a scraper or like a screwdriver and try and dig the roots out so we don't have to pressure wash that area. The other thing to note is, if you want to get technical, it's actually not part of the driveway. It's part of the path. And so any work done on that section really isn't the customer's isn't in the customer's like remit, you know what I mean? But the best thing to do, I would say, is do it dry, hands and knees, dig them out, and just avoid pressure washing that area if you can. Or leave it.
Did you know you could kill weeds with steam?
No, but I found out in my garden a couple of days ago. I thought, what? We found out on the live stream the other day that sodium hypochlorite does actually kill weeds. Doesn't kill the root, but it will kill the weed temporarily. And so I've experimented in my garden, and I couldn't believe the result. Within an hour, these big weeds had started to wilt, and it's not going to last very long. I can see them; they're probably going to start growing back any day now. But it's interesting. So does steam kill the root as well, or does it just?
So like agricultural will use. It's also quite an American thing as well. They'll use steam to kill off weeds in a safe, environmentally way.
I suppose you could do that. You could do that border super low pressure then, couldn't you, if you're using steam and not destroy the aggregate?
Yeah, it's just another benefit of the equipment that a lot of the established guys might have on the van. They could also use that to do that. Do you know what I mean? And
tarmac doesn't mind heat as well, does it? It kind of, if anything, it'll make it potentially a bit sticky and bond stuff back together if it is. I don't know, I might be talking absolute rubbish.
Best case scenario, heat it back up again, the tar back up again, it glues itself back together again.
Yeah, that's a smelty fact there. Questionable. Sean says, what are the options out there just now for 30 litres per minute? Looking around, always get my machines from Darren.
V-twin.
Any particular setup you recommend for like a 30 litre per minute engine and pump combination?
I'll share with you what I've learnt with dealing with V-twins over the last few years. So V-twins have took quite a battering for reliability. So the further in the scene you get, the more you'll see people whinging about certain machines going wrong all the time. Oh, it's always the Briggs V-twin, or oh, it's always the Honda V-twin, so on and so on. And what I've learned is if you spec the pump close to what the engine's maximum is. So on a single cylinder pump, a 21.2 is basically on the max rating of a GX390, right? And that'll run like that for 10 years, 15 years, no problem whatsoever. When you spec, let's say, a 30 litre 250 bar pump on a 22 horsepower Briggs or the smaller Honda that's a similar horsepower, it rags the guts out the engines and they're really unreliable and they don't last very long at all. So you're getting longevity with yours because you're not running it on full performance all the time.
Yeah, so...
The guy...
Sorry to interrupt, go on.
It's all right, but the guys that like to run them full chat. So what I've learned about them is oversize the engine by at least one step to what performance you actually want. So, for example, another popular guy on YouTube, the one that sounds like a bird. I'm not sure if we're allowed to say his name across channel advertising. We built
partridge. Sounds like a bird. Nice to see Sid back, by the way, after 4 or 5 months off. He's back on YouTube.
Yeah. He's been off the tube, but he's been around. Many things have gone on with Sid. I see Sid a lot. I consider Sid a good friend. So we talk quite a lot. So for his machine, we built a 26 litre 200 bar machine, which only needs 14 horsepower to run it, but we fitted it with an 18 horsepower engine. Squeaky Clean Dave, instead of fitting a 3250 on his V-twin, we fitted a 3200 on his V-twin, which meant that he's not run the guts out of it. I've not seen any of his videos. I've not heard from him. He's had no problems with it whatsoever. So your options on a 30 litre is, if you want it at 200 bar, I might get a 250 bar. You've got a couple of engines available. You've got the Lonsin, you've got the Briggs, and you've got the Honda, which are readily available. What I am learning, and with one of the builds that we're fitting tomorrow with Cedars, who's in the chat, is the Lonsin V-twin represents exceptional value for money when doing the build. So it's around half the price of a Briggs or a Honda.
The whole kit or just the engine?
Just the engine.
Yeah.
Pump's always going to be the same price. Gearbox always going to be the same price. But the engine it's a big difference. And I know other traders use the Lonsins with great success, and I know other people use them with great success. So we'll find out, won't we? I think it's going to be brilliant. I've heard it running today. It sounds great.
My 2 cents on that. We're running the Honda GX 630, and I have been doing so for 2 years, like around about 2 years now. And I've, hand on heart, not had a single issue with that engine or the pump. I've got a 30 litre per minute interpump on there, and I think the reason is, and I've got evidence for this, because we're only mainly doing domestic stuff. It's on its lowest rev setting possible every day. And so we're not running 30 litres per minute. We're probably running more like a 19 or 20. Compare that to H2O Restorations, who sold me the machine, and they're getting through both. I mean, they're regularly doing rebuilds and replacements on their machines, and they're running similar sized V-twin machines, both Briggs and Hondas, and they're regularly having to either replace or rebuild, and it's because I've worked with them. They get on site, they turn the machines on, and they stick them on full chat because they're doing big commercial stuff, and I think that makes a massive difference. And if you're trying to achieve, on a smaller engine, 21-200, Jakey's machine is designed to run at full revs, 21-200. I think if you could get away with backing that off slightly, do you think that could potentially like prolong the lifespan of the engine, even though these engines are designed to rev?
No, you'll be fine on the single cylinder. Run it flat out all day, every day.
Really?
It's just the V twins that don't like it. Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
You'll get like 15 years out of that if you maintain it and look after it.
With the Matt says with the core on the smaller engines to make the 19 litres per minute, does that mean people can upgrade the engine only down the line, like a modular system?
Yeah, of course, if they wanted to.
So they got the pump that will do 21 if they want it to. They just need to upgrade the engine. Okay.
Cool. Engine, yeah.
Be Sure says, where can I get my machine serviced? I'm 4 hours away from PWS. Okay,
where in the country is he from?
No idea. That's quite a vague question. I think we'll move past that until we get a confirmation. Clean Link, nice to see Clean Link in the chat. Don't know if it's a worthwhile question to answer for the newbies, but I remember struggling with figuring out what impact adjusting revs, unloader, choke, etc. had when I first started. So we're taking let's take a standard. Yeah, let's go with like a 21200 Honda or something.
Okay.
Struggling to figure out the impact of adjusting the engine revs, unloader, and choke.
So, what nobody talks about. So what happens is you decide I'm going to be an exterior cleaner, okay, or I'm going to buy a jet wash. You don't have to be an exterior cleaner. I'm going to buy a jet wash, and I'm a man, and this is an engine, and jet washes are man things to play around with, which means I'm not going to read the instruction book. I'm going to want to shortcut everything that's out there, and because I'm a man and I know everything, I'm just going to run it and assume I know everything. And what that means is you never ask when you're buying it or where you're buying it from for any help and advice, ever. You go home and try and work it out for yourself. Because if you did stop and ask for some advice, they would tell you that the answer to this question is that if you want to reduce the pressure on a machine that's got an engine, then the revs and pressure adjustment go hand in hand. Completely hand in hand. As you lower the revs, you will also want to back off the unloader valve, because if you don't do that, when you let go of the trigger with the lower revs, you'll just stall the engine. So you perhaps have had this with Jakeys. If ever you try to run Jakeys with the revs turned down and you've not backed the unloader valve off, when you let go of the trigger and it goes to maximum load, which is the break-off point. So when you let go of the trigger, your machine builds up to its absolute maximum pressure break-off point that the unloader valve is set to. So say your machine's set to your machine, if it's on full power, should be set to about 210, 220 bar break-off point. So when you back the revs off and you let go, the machine goes, and then it'll stall because it's got not got enough torque and horsepower to reach that break-off point when you let go of the trigger. So you adjust the unloader valve and the revs completely hand in hand. Is there a formula for that? Unfortunately not. It's a sound, it's a feel, it's a touch, it's watch what's going on as you're adjusting it. In regards to the choke and starting it, pretty much all of them want choke to start the equipment. Just pull it and away you go, and then turn the choke off immediately.
Is it immediately? You don't let it warm up? Because I've never been quite sure on that.
Well, your V-twin might need it open for a little bit longer to warm up. I'm talking about the single cylinders.
Okay.
But generally the single cylinders pretty much just want it turning off straight away. There's two exceptions to that. The V-twins I've found like to have the choke on, maybe half choke for maybe 30 seconds. And the other exception is the Briggs & Stratton electric start engine like you to turn the choke off as you are turning the key.
Ooh.
So quite literally, as you're turning the key to start it, they like you to turn it off.
And you would never know that unless someone told you.
No.
It probably doesn't even say that in the instructions, does it?
No, which is why I'd always say to anybody and everybody, go to your local dealer, go and pick the kit up from them, get them to demonstrate how to use the equipment, ask the questions, they'll tell you the answers. We're not the only company in the world. Every company that sells the equipment, and it can be any equipment as well, if they're a proper specialist, they'll show you how to use it. If you buy a scaffold tower from a scaffold specialist and you go to them and you ask them, they'll show you how to put the bloody thing up. Do you know what I mean? It's about going and learning from them.
I was fascinated, beginning of the season, the amount of people that would come into the Discord and have issues with their machine running lumpy or not starting, and it's because they had no idea how to use the choke. And I'm coming from a background of tinkering around with classic cars and stuff, so I sort of understood what a choke did. But I can understand that if someone's never messed about with an engine before, or they've got no experience running old lawnmowers and stuff, even new lawnmowers, whatever. That's totally new to someone, and if you're not shown how to do it or told how to do it, you're gonna have issues. If you don't put the choke on, it's not going to start, and if you leave the choke on, it's going to overfuel and start running lumpy and probably cut out. A lot of people had issues with air leaks and stuff as well with the machine chasing, and it's because they didn't really set up their buffer tank right, or they haven't got enough water coming into the machine. They think I'll just plug it into the tap and it'll work, and it's like, no, your machine's like a 21 litre per minute machine. You need a buffer tank, and there's if you do it, in my opinion, if your supplier is selling something like a starter kit and it doesn't include, for example, like a buffer tank. I've seen starter kits out there for like 21 litre per minute machines, and what you get with it is like specifically called a business starter kit, and so the customer gets sent off with this product, and they can't just plug it into their tap because there's not enough water coming from their tap, and they're potentially gonna. I mean, does that happen? Do you cause damage to a machine if you're not putting enough water into it?
No, you can do. It's tricky, isn't it? I personally don't like stuff that's bundled together and called starter packages or this, that, and the other. I appreciate the marketing.
Everyone's got a different requirement, haven't they? And so to make one big pack.
Yeah, that's where I'm from. Because everybody wants something different. What is a good starter pack for one person doesn't work for the next. I'm not knocking the companies that do starter packs, but I think that when you're going to a specialist to buy the equipment, and there's plenty of us about, even in this with the exterior stuff, you can name a handful of us dotted around the country straight away that will give you good sound advice and will set you up with whatever you need or want, as opposed to whatever somebody has decided they believe is a starter kit. You've all got different size vans. Somebody might be in a car. Somebody might have a $5,000 budget. Somebody might have a $10,000 budget. Somebody might have a £1,000 budget. All these things are completely different, but you can build a pack that will get that person cleaning for their budget and give them the best advice to get going.
I think what you get with a starter kit is either something missing, or you're paying too much for products that you don't end up using.
Never use.
Or they're not quite right.
My biggest hate is selling stuff. The whole reason we started doing the green machines, the wheeled ones, was simply that everybody wanted. So we would buy the petrol engines in, so you'd see the blue frame, quite often known as the Evolution, or the Delta ones, or the red frame ones. We've been buying them in for 15 years and selling them to people. But what had happened is they come with a 10-metre hose. That's the little crappy stuff. A small little suction hose that's barely big enough to get in a wheelie bin. A single fixed lance. And a loader that went around the head. And you'd be speaking to somebody about their requirements, and they'd go, no, I need this, and this, longer hose, different guns, different lances, different unloader valve. So we'd be taking this new stuff apart because we didn't want to give them waste, and then building it the way they wanted. So in the end, it just made sense for us just to...
Because the customer's also paying they're almost paying twice there, aren't they, to get actually what they want. They're buying a brand new machine and then paying you to modify it to their spec.
Yeah, the volume of people we still see now to date that go and buy kits from other places on the internet anywhere, and it doesn't matter. This isn't a slight at any manufacturer. This is just they've brought them from somewhere, and then it's turned up, and they're like, right, well, now I want a Q gun, I want a longer lance, I want a different this. So they'll come to us and they'll spend £400 or £500 on accessories
to replace the ones that came with the other kit.
Replace the new stuff that came with the kit. Yeah. Instead of speaking to that company and going wherever their preferred supplier was and saying, actually, I don't want it with that, build it with this, please.
Yeah. Also, on that note, some people don't know what they want until it turns up, and then they think, this wasn't quite what I expected. How do I get it to be more like this, or to like this one I've seen on YouTube or whatever? And so they see a picture.
They see a picture and assume it comes that way.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And when it turns up, it's completely different. They also don't understand that lances come in different lengths and different sizes, and most packs out there don't come with anything quick release at all, because the cheapest way to produce it is everything hard fastened.
Yeah. That's not to say that there aren't suppliers out there that are doing good business starter packs, because I've seen a few that are done right.
I'm not saying that at all. I'm quite a chilled out and global sort of appraisal that there's some good packs out there, but you still need to know what you're buying.
Yeah,
I would still say that generally, if you're new and you're buying something that's called a starter pack, unless you really, really know what you're buying, you're probably going to buy a bunch of stuff that you either don't want or won't quite be right for you. And you're always better off asking the question. I think that's what I'm trying to sort of generalise a little.
I was more covering my back in that, PWSAS do some great starter packs. So I had that in mind when I said that.
I should imagine they do.
Yeah.
I should imagine they do some fantastic stuff.
And I think part of the reason is because I mentioned a while ago what I would like to see in a starter pack, and they took it and ran, and I think they've made a good one. Macaulay says, sorry, I've skipped a question. David says, I'm new to this, probably looking to start in the external cleaning industry, and I'm a complete novice. What's the best setup for both window, soft washing, and jet washing, commercial/residential? I think that's quite a broad question. Can you answer that one quickly?
All I would say, the best advice I can give you with that is you're going to want a custom machine, because there's probably not one on the market that's going to do it the way you want to do it.
Can you do all those services with one tank, one machine, one? You know what I mean? Can you build it to do all those services?
Yeah, we do loads of combination. I mean, our most popular machine at the moment is what we just call them a combination, where it's one frame with one tank that does sort of everything. We do a lot of that at the moment, and it's where a lot of the guys are going because of space in the vans. So instead of having a water tank for window cleaning and a water tank for their soft washing, a water tank for their jet washing, basically having rows of tanks in the vans, each with their own individual pumps fitted, they're basically having a single tank, or as we're doing with Cedar, a row of smaller tanks that are valved so they can be used in different ways. So you can have like one big tank, or depending on what he's doing in the day, if it might be all window cleaning, you might fill up with just RO water or jet wash water. So we're seeing lots of that that type of machine. So pick your local supplier, go and have a chat with them. There's several of us within the scene that can make that for you exactly how you want it to be. I would go and have it made how you want it to be and take some advice. So if you want one unit to do everything, pick up the phone or go and have a chat with those people.
You'll probably save a lot of money doing it that way as well. A lot of space and a lot of money.
It'll be space is the biggest saver. Space followed by money. And space, as you'll know with your little van, space is a premium.
Mm-hmm, definitely. Are you good for a bit? Are you happy?
Me, yeah. I'm good till about 10. But my youngest, Nancy, who you've seen on the stream before, she's now decided that she wants to get up at 6 a.m. to prepare for school every morning because it puts her in a better headspace.
Cute.
So I'm now up at 6 a.m. every morning instead of 7:30. So about 10, half 10, I'm absolutely done for. And you've already seen me yawning twice.
I don't think that's a bad change. I think that's a good thing, personally. If I could get up earlier, I would.
Do you know what? I'm off pressure washers for a second. I'm going through a phase with my girls at the moment where I'm really enjoying being dad. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Sonia having a new job. I'm around home a lot more. I'm really enjoying it. And if she wants to get up at 6 o'clock and we do breakfast together, so most days we'll sit and have breakfast together. And on Friday we do Costa Friday, where we all go to Costa for breakfast before school. So I'm good for a bit, mate.
Okay, we have got lots of questions coming in, and we'll do our best to answer all of them.
Let's just do them quicker.
Yeah, I'm not reading the chat. Matt is taking your questions, and he's DMing me, the good questions that aren't being repeated and stuff. Can we talk about Sonia for very briefly? Is that public? No? We can keep it a secret. I'm good at secrets.
No, it isn't a secret. But the funny thing is the assumption that we've split up or there's some kind of major problem.
Oh, really?
Yes. And if you couple that together with, I've just been on a holiday with another bloke and my two kids, and even one of my, Belle turned around when we was at Fantasialand, and she said, like in front of everybody, she went, "Oh, look at us, all modern family out with our two dads." No, but we could talk about Sonia. Go for it, mate.
No, I was surprised to learn that she's not working at PWS anymore.
Well, anybody who's ever worked with their missus will know how hard it is and what a strain it is on your relationship. It might seem good to start off with, but we've worked together for 17 years. And mainly out of convenience, because it's she could have time off to do the kids when she needed to. When the kids were young, she was part-time for a bit, then she wasn't in. Do you know what I mean? It was mainly out of convenience. And then one of a global manufacturer came in, was talking. We'd already had a chat ages ago. There was a wage threshold. If either of us wanted to stop doing it, there was a wage threshold we needed to hit. And to be honest, it was nearly an unobtainium figure. And global manufacturer came in, started talking to her. Next thing I know, she's saying, put an offer on the table then if you're interested. They hounded her and hounded her and hounded her some more, made her a good offer. So she left.
We've discussed, me and Soph, me employing Soph at some point, and I'd love for her to work for us, with us. But I don't know if I want to put her through that. She's got a good thing going at the moment, and I think it would take her out of her sort of happy work environment where she's challenged and stuff and she's motivated, and then potentially she'd be ended up working from home and not really.
Hello.
Hello, there she is.
Hello.
There
she is.
How you doing?
Hold on, let me turn. Hold on, let me just turn.
Oh, new t-shirts.
Hold on. Has it zoomed in on her? I can't tell.
Niho says that question was too far. Things should be private. I did.
We are going for a divorce.
Yeah, we are having a divorce.
Time for us both.
I did
Darren
say.
I did ask
beforehand. I did ask, like, do you want to talk about Sonia or not? And
Yeah, you should.
Darren said
You should
yeah.
be on shot now. You're a little bit. No, that's a little bit slow. That is.
Slow.
There
How's-
you go. Look, come in now. Look, you can see now. Look there.
How's the new
Yeah.
job?
There you go.
I am absolutely loving it.
Have you got to drive up and down the country and stuff?
Yeah, so I cover the whole of the southwest. So from sort of Staffordshire right down to Dorset way, and then all the way across to Cornwall, and then all the way across to Wales, the whole of Wales.
Are you doing like sales or servicing and stuff?
So I'm going into companies like Precious,
Uh-huh.
who are dealers for the company that I work for. So they get the equipment in and sell the equipment.
Ah.
By the way, she's obviously been watching this in the other room. Wait for you to ask so she can run in quick as you like. To have a new job. Look at me.
Yeah,
But for both of you, it's a positive move.
yeah, definitely.
Good.
I absolutely love it.
Is
I
Darren,
absolutely love
Darren missing you yet?
it. I don't think so. I'm not missing him. The only person to miss is the dog, really.
Can we tell Jake about my allowance?
Your allowance, yeah, if you want to.
I get an allowance now, Jake, for looking after the kids. I'm a kept man.
From the government or from Sonia?
No, from Sonia.
She's giving you pocket money.
Yeah, I get an allowance now for looking after the kids.
He gets pocket money to make himself look all pretty for me for when I get home.
I have to
Oh,
have it done now and whatnot.
interesting. I've not heard that before, but that sounds. As long as you're both happy.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely. Awesome.
Have you had to replace Sonia at work? Not at home, obviously. At work.
Have I done a what was that?
Replaced me. No, he's just had to work now, really, and reacquaint yourself with tools, haven't you?
It depends, right, how you look at it. I mean, obviously, Sonia was a key member of the team. But I'm prepared to put up with a happy life more than I am having that person kicking around. Plus, we've had a staff change around at Precious anyway. We've got a much better guy in called Jeff.
Better than Sonia. How dare you?
Yeah.
Jeff,
Staz's new boyfriend. Replaced.
Jeff came to the Nürburgring with us. So,
Nice.
yeah, so I have replaced Sonia with Jeff.
When me and
But yeah,
Soph, me and Soph used to work together at Aldi, and I was her manager, and
Whoa, stop! Don't talk about. No, you can't talk about this online. You're not allowed to. Jake, that's how you go to prison. Right?
she didn't like me. She hated me when we first met because I was a bit of a knobby manager.
Oh,
So I can see how working together for so long could cause. Well, I mean, yeah, it's probably not ideal. You know, spending all day at work together and then coming home and spending the evening together as well. It's probably. I don't think wouldn't be very good for us. I don't think.
No, we'd come home and then continue to talk about work.
Yeah.
And then instead of concentrating on the stuff that mattered in our relationship, we'd be bitching at each other about who'd done what at work and who hadn't done what at work and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
It's also meant that I had August off and spent time with the kids, because whereas Sonia would normally have a load of time off in August and go and spend it with the kids, I did it this year while she went to work. Yay!
work. I was the breadwinner.
Very happy for you, Sonia. I'm glad that you're both happy.
She was down at Ollie's the other week talking
Who
about it.
was? What's the Ollie at PWSAS?
Yeah, his dad mentioned Sonia came to see us the other day. I was like, why would she come and see you? And then he explained, and I was like, what?
There's big problems. Honestly, mate, within the scene, you wouldn't believe the amount of, like, I don't know, like people being nosy, gossip, like the whisper messages coming through, and is there any problems? Have they split up? And all that kind of business.
So it's probably a good thing I did ask. Then it's probably a good thing we got it out in the open.
Yeah, my new boss got text messages when they announced that I was now working for Earl. He had a few text messages asking if we'd got a divorce.
No way. Nosy bastards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In other news, though, Sonia will be at Sausage Fest with her Earl gazebo and all of the Earl equipment to show you all of the stuff that she does.
Oh,
Nice.
well, yeah.
Nice. Then the nosy gits can ask you in person.
Oh, yeah, exactly that.
I did miss an opportunity with my holiday of actually posting a picture of me and Jeff and announcing my new boyfriend.
Would have been funny.
Would you do me another chocolate, please? Then?
Hot chocolate.
Yes, an orange one. Thank you.
I thought
the blur back on.
Macaulay says, if I buy a pressure washer, will you paint it red first? I don't think this is a joke either. I think this is like...
Whatever. It doesn't matter. You can have it however you want. I make custom stuff. We're making a stainless steel one this next couple of weeks because that's what a customer wants. We've made trailers. We've made skid stuff. Whatever you want.
Oh, Macaulay says it is a joke. Okay. Good to know, though. Simon says, Daz, would it be possible to convert my low-pressure window cleaning pole with a brush into a high-pressure pole to clean gutters?
Of course.
Well, I would preface that with it depends on what sort of pole it is, because there's a massive difference between like a fiberglass composite. You get, potentially loads of flex versus an aluminium pole versus a full carbon fiber. There's so many different grades of carbon fiber, but generally you can get kits that will just convert any water fed pole. If you're going to be using it for like roof cleaning and stuff, you need to be careful about how much sort of pressure you're putting through them, because they can be quite flexible if you get a cheap pole potentially.
Yeah, they come with a warning, don't they? Just turn it right down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's all you got to do. We have a cheap ass one on the shelf that's a couple £100, and it comes ready to go. Add a gutter cleaner attachment for £20 and away you go. But you wouldn't want to use that with more than 50, 75 bar in the gutter, because you'll just be flexing and snapping the pole. In fact, I know somebody who pulled the trigger and the pole folded in the middle, came round and smacked him on the
I can imagine. I've seen them. They're unwieldy, some of them are. Just one thing to note, we have used the power pole to lightly pressure wash gutters, fascias and soffits before. Not so much the soffits, gutters and fascias, to lightly wash the externals. With regards to washing the inside of the gutters to clear them out, I have seen this being done. I would suggest that's going to cause a massive mess, and I'm not sure whether you'd want to go that route or whether you just want to go gutter vac route. I know the Americans just tend to blow all the crap out with the leaf blower and stuff. So,
what do you think they used to use before gutter vacs were a thing?
Probably their ladder, hands, bucket, but
we used to have loads of the cheap poles for cleaning gutters and soffits. I can imagine
just blasting them out, blasting all the crap out from the inside of the gutters. Revive and Refresh says, with a 15 litre per minute machine, would you stick to the customer's tap and save room in your van, or is there a big difference to get a buffer tank? Do you mind if I go for a wee while you answer that question?
No, go. I know you can't last the duration.
No.
Probably worse now you're on bottle counting water.
Do you want me to repeat the question?
No, I know the question.
Okay. Back in a bit.
No, what was the question again? I'm joking. So 15 litres is probably a little bit big to rely on the customer's tap. A 13, 14 litre a minute machine would be better suited and completely ditch off carrying a buffer tank with you. And as long as the tap's got a decent supply, you should be okay. There we go, Simon. Being on Thursday. So that's that one. I don't know how Matt can send me other questions while Jake's not here. So I can't really. Let's have a look. He loves abandoning me and legging it off. Post one of the questions in the chat, Matt, or DM me. Yeah, DM me a question. I'll do one while he's gone for a wee. Let me do this.
Everything good? I'm back.
Oh, you're back quick. Matt was just about to send me another question. I answered it really quickly. The question was 15's a little bit too big to rely on the customer's tap. A 13 or 14 would be better.
Yeah, on average, we're getting 15. But I'd say on average we're getting between 10 and 15 litres per minute. So if you end up with a tap that's pushing 10 litres per minute out, I don't think you're going to want to subject your machine to that sort of water pressure. David says, where do you use a cold water pressure washer and where do you use a hot water pressure washer? I think this is probably aimed at you because I don't have any experience with boilers.
So cold water does most of your cleans, doesn't it? I mean, in general, cold water does most of your cleans. And I liken hot water, you remember this one, to washing dishes, won't you?
Mm-hmm.
So if you've got greases, fats, like tree saps, tire marks,
oil,
anything like
chewing
that. Chewing gum. That's when you're using hot water or steam. The rest of the time, you'll just use cold water.
Or if you've got a very delicate sort of heritage property where you don't want to use high pressure, instead you're going to want to use low pressure steam.
Yeah, you'll back it off. You'll back it off and you'll use hot or very hot water. With it, you can kill organic growth. So one of the benefits with using it when you, let's say, roof cleaning, or when you see them steam cleaning, like, is it sandstone, that the tops where the muck's not on the top, it's just inside the stone.
Yeah, the casing stones and stuff.
Whatever it is, yeah. So you're going to be looking at using it for that because it kills the organic growth inside it, kills the organic growth on roofs and stuff like that. But it's an instant kill and it will grow back, not like a biocide or chemical treatment where it'll take a while for it to clean and probably won't come back for a long time.
Just a note on that, the biocide will kill organic growth within about 10 minutes. It's like a kill on contact, but it takes ages to then, potentially ages, depending on the surface, to then weather off that dead growth. Anthony says, if I wanted to upgrade the pump on my powerhouse core from 19 to 220, what's the most you think I could get out of it? I think that is the most, isn't it? If you wanted to upgrade,
you're already at so that pump is a 21275 pump. So if you had more horsepower behind it, you could get more out of it.
So it's not a case of upgrading the pump; it's a case of upgrading the engine so that you can run the pump faster.
You could probably jet that differently and get 21 litre 200 bar out of it.
So,
but we tried to do that machine differently to give a different type of clean.
What you mean by jet it differently is run smaller orifice nozzles. So when you're using your nozzle chart, you want to just spec it down a little bit to run slightly higher pressure. You're not going to get more flow out of it like that, though, are you? Are you?
No. You put a smaller nozzle and you get less flow.
Yeah. The bin cleaner says, Darren, with winter coming, can you please do a small video on frost protection for the van mounted machines, please?
Yes, and I'll tell you what, let's check back in a month, Jake. Let's do one before Sausage Fest.
We did one last year, didn't we, about winterproofing?
Yeah. And I'll tell you what, I'll do it from the workshop. So instead of me being at home, I'll stay on Monday night in the workshop with all the kit out, and I'll have all of those bits with me, and we'll go through it. You know what I mean? I'll set it up in the workshop so you can talk to me. I'll put an earpiece in, and we can go through stuff in the workshop. That would make a good stream worth doing, wouldn't
Yeah,
it? Like,
definitely.
I'm not saying your streams are not worth doing, Jake. I love them. But we could do one with real. Like,
Go on. Real what, Darren? Real what?
Real useful going back. Something you could save and use as a guide.
Yes.
That's what I mean.
Save.
Don't just watch it once.
You save that. So Cedars and Keystone have asked a similar question here. How crucial when running bigger machines is that your fan nozzles meet the rating of the pump instead of just using generic Timu nozzles? Keystone says, Darren, could you explain how downsizing nozzles works and if it places additional strain on the pump?
What exactly is the question? Do smaller nozzles put more strain on the pump?
So how important is it? So I had this issue when I had my 15 litre per minute machine, 250 bar. I then upgraded to my 30 litre per minute machine, and I hadn't realised that I could no longer use those old nozzles that I had without changing the output of the new machine. It was going to change it was either going to change the flow or it was going to change the pressure. And will that have any detrimental effect to the machine?
So, first of all, having the correct size nozzle is absolutely critical for your machine. And using the correct size nozzle. So when the machine is set to full pressure on the unloader valve, so let's assume when I say full pressure, I don't mean turned all the way down. I mean, if it's a 200 bar rated machine at 21 litres a minute, you've got your unloader valve set at 210 bar. So you put the right size nozzle in, so it runs at 200 bar, which will be an 065. And the engine's run full. That's absolutely critical for 21 litres, 200 bar. Now, without adjusting your unloader valve, if you start putting smaller nozzles in that, what will happen is the pressure will raise to the point of the break-off point of the unloader valve. So in this scenario, we've said it's 220 bar. So you put a smaller nozzle in, it'll come up to 220 bar, and then it'll start restricting the flow all the way down.
So will that have a... So you're going to output more pressure by using a smaller nozzle. You're going to output more pressure, less flow. Does it have any detrimental effect on the machine?
So, if your machine is 200 bar rated and your unloader valve is set to 220 bar break-off point, which is about right, 10% over running pressure is what your unloader valve should be set to. And that's the point at which it starts to bypass. Yes, it does have a detrimental effect on your machine, running your machine over pressure, right? So over 200 bar, you're going to find that your engine is absolutely labouring like, or even will want to stall. And that's going to damage the engine, damage the seals, cook the gearbox, do all the rest of it. If you want to, so the second part of that question is, can people restrict their flow and keep their pressure up? Was one of the other questions, wasn't it, later on? Mm-hmm. Or the gist of the question was. So if you want to run, so for example, a lot of the roof cleaning guys, to keep the pressure up, but to put less flow on the roof, they will often use a smaller sized turbo nozzle or nozzle on the end of their flat surface cleaner. And what they do is they turn the machine down, so it's not running at its break-off point, and then they set it so they'll run, let's say, an 0.5 nozzle, which will give them roughly 12 litres a minute at about 110, 120 bar, and they'll set it to 120 bar, and they'll run the smaller nozzle on the end of it. So in that instance, no, it won't damage your machine. So there's two elements of... Yes, it will. If the machine's set on max and running max, 100% will cause problems, will give you grief. If you're going to turn your machine down, you can adjust. So you've probably done it with your big 30 litre machine, where you've run smaller nozzles on it, and you're running the revs and the unloader valve turned down, but you've still got good pressure because the nozzle size is smaller. You're using less water in the tank, so you're not struggling to fill it up, and your engine's not struggling because you've backed everything off to work within correct parameters.
Yeah. So this was massive for me when I got my bigger machine. I'd actually recommend that people carry a set of smaller nozzles and a set of appropriately sized nozzles for their machine, because if you turn up at a property and it's got very low water pressure, the best thing you can do is turn your revs and your unloader valve down. I
just don't recommend it for beginners. I really don't. This is something that you learn with experience.
It is, but I think if you can pair it with a pressure gauge, so you can actually see what sort of pressure you're running. A lot of these new machines don't come with pressure gauges as standard. A lot of the time you have to ask for them. And so if you can see what pressure you're running and you can audibly hear the revs, I think it's quite intuitive. If you're running with no pressure gauge, you're just pissing in the wind and you're guessing.
One of the most common things we get is my pressure washer won't run anymore. And it's because they've turned the unloader valve all the way down or running the wrong size nozzle and it's stalling the engine.
Yeah. Cool. I think that answers that one really well. Simon says, can bleach be downstreamed from a smaller tank at the hose reel on the van-mounted 21200 Vanguard? It can, definitely can, although you might find that running bleach through a standard pressure washing hose and pump and trigger and lance is going to cause you some issues.
That's not the biggest problem. The biggest problem is downstreaming down the length of hose. It's actually getting the venturi to suck. So if it was just 20 meters you were going down, that'd be a really simple thing to do. But to downstream it down to the reason why you fit an X-Jet stroke chemical injector at your gun and not at the machine is because once you pass 20 meters of hose, it's very difficult to get the venturi effect to work to actually suck the product up the chemical pipe to send it down.
So the X-Jet's only got about 2.5 meters, isn't it? Is it 5 or 2.5 meters? Can't remember.
Yeah, so you could, in that instance, run a longer pipe down your hose and send it all the way back and it would suck that distance, not a problem. I assume the question is, could they fit an injector like an X-Jet, for example, an appropriate injector at the machine and suck from a tank in their van and then change the nozzle on the end of their machine to put out the bleach? And that's a very complicated thing to do after 20 meters of hose length.
Perfect. Well answered. This is something that the guys in the US have been doing successfully for years, but they're also spending a lot of money on their rigs and using a hell of a lot of bleach on every single property. And so, they use a separate pump and send it down like a 1/2-inch hose.
Yeah. And have a completely extra reel and extra hose. Now that can be done, and that can be done quite simple.
It's set up to do just soft washing.
Correct. So just a soft wash hose is really easy to do, and you can do that with either a chemical pump, the likes of what you use in your backpack, or from a pump that you'd use in your backpack all the way to a petrol-driven one, which is like what the Yanks use, or you can downstream it by using a normal pump that sucks fresh water and then injects the chemical afterwards. So one of the things that we've been experimenting with is 1/2-inch hose over 50 meters and downstreaming it. The problem we're finding is with our feedback and testing that 50 meters isn't quite enough to ensure that you can definitely get chemical to anywhere you want to go to. The chemical's a little bit different to wanting to roll the jet wash out. And at the moment, we've only been successful to downstream 50 meters. I think you need 100 meters on the hose reel. And at the moment, it'll be a chemical pump.
I think the other issue there is if you're running like 50 to 100 meters of hose, the amount of time it will take for that bleach to start coming through, and then at the end when you let go of the trigger because you've finished applying the product, you've still got 50 to 100 meters of hose full of bleach that you don't want to use. And so where's that going to go then? It's got to sort of be blasted off into the, I don't know, into the stones or something, or just wasted.
You could put a rinse through it. It isn't the end of the world. I think that's, although it's a consideration, in all honesty, I think that's the smallest. I think that's the smallest problem.
I'm just thinking about the chemical wastage. Like the Yanks get through a lot of bleach, whereas we're I mean, well, some of us are a little bit more frugal with it. The Fresh Rinse says, how much are your frames, Daz? Looking to get a double reel mounted one. Recommendations for a tank size with the 21200 currently have a 650 and it takes up a lot of space in the van. This is a very specific question for your very specific setup. And you're asking for a very specific price on very specific products.
Yes. And I'm going to answer it in a really diplomatic way here. I'm not sure if you want it with or without reels. So let's just ignore the cost of the frame for a minute. Give us a call and have a chat about the actual frame. In regards to your water tank, it's been a while now since I've done anybody with a water tank bigger than 500. And a lot of the time now, the 250 tall tank, which is what we've used on Luke's, either singular or double, take up the smallest footprint.
That's the one I've got, isn't it?
Yeah, Luke's managed to get a 3 250 talls in roughly the same footprint as a 500.
Is this Cedars?
Yes.
He's having 3 250 talls?
Yes.
Bloody hell.
Don't want to do too many spoilers on the channel. Because he's not even seen it himself yet. But only the little teaser videos I've been sending him for fun, which has made me chuckle all week. It's been one of the funniest things I've been doing since we've been building this machine. Is essentially it's one of these combination machines where the client asked for maximum flexibility. Okay, so ignoring Luke's in the chat, let's call him the client. Question was, I want maximum flexibility. Some days I might do a lot of window cleaning, so I need 500 litres available for window cleaning. I've got a good water supply, so I only need a small 250 litre tank to do the jet wash. The next job I go to, I've only got 5 windows to clean there, so I just need to do a small tank of window cleaning, but their water supply is crap, so I could do with 500 litres. So we've come up with a way that he can open valves on the back of the tank and use any combination of the tanks for either the jet wash or his pump side, soft wash pump side, which he'll use for window cleaning or whatever he wants to use over that side. So he can use anything from 1 to 3 tanks in either direction.
Sounds good.
What he wants. It was just an interesting concept. It was a nice challenge. We had a long chat about engine types and other stuff. There was extra requirements. Luke didn't like the ratchet strap idea, so he asked for box section to go around it. He then went on to ask me why I don't do that on all of them, and it's as simple as every person wants a different size tank. It's impossible to make the frames for every possible permutation of thing.
I think you can be more creative when you've got the more restrictions you apply to a project. You tend to find more creative solutions. Thomas says, what was your best time at the Nürburgring?
So I got down to an 8-minute 30 bridge to gantry in a left-hand drive rented 200 horsepower Mini Cooper S.
Sean says, are we still on for the PB at Sausage Fest, Darren? PB?
Yes. Yeah. So it'll be his 3rd machine from us. We're swapping some stuff over and putting his kit into a PB frame.
Nice. Tintin says, question for Darren. If I can't figure out the pressure issues, how much will you charge for servicing the Karcher HDS745. I think you replied on Discord, can't remember. Again,
$1 million.
I think that's another question to ask personally, or maybe ring up the office potentially.
Yeah, to answer the question without being elusive, it won't want a service if the pressure's not right. It'll want investigating and fixing. Your problem could be anything from some scale, so it's a relatively small problem, relatively small money, all the way through to might need a rebuild in the pump. I would say get it to us, let us have a look. We can always do a sympathetic repair, knowing that it might be of the older ilk of machine. So yeah, hopefully that answers your question.
Stuart says, hi Darren, looking to upgrade from the Hyundai 4000P to something slightly bigger. What would you suggest? Stick with a 15 litre or upgrade to a 21 in the Alpha range? I think we've sort of already had this conversation, haven't we?
You know what? Obviously, I'm going to say buy an Alpha machine, obviously. But in all seriousness, if you've got the 4000P, you can just bolt the same pump and gearbox, so we've done it in the past, off one of the Alpha machines with the unloader valve that's on it, straight onto that engine, straight onto your frame, and you can save yourself a chunk of change.
Nice. Andy says, hello Jake and Daz. A question for Daz. Is there a way to fit a tap/hose barb to a sealed tank without cutting an opening to place the nut behind? So this is a good question. This is also something you come across when you're drilling a hole into the bottom of a tank as well. It's like, how do you get the nut on the back? Is there like a special technique for that?
Litter picker.
Okay. I suppose lots of trial and error as well.
We've also used, we've also threaded wire through the hole. So we sent the fitting down, like on a piece of wood, like we sent wire through the hole, sent the fitting down, wiggled it through, and then used like a long litter picker and screwed on the other end.
Have you ever had to do anything with a sealed tank? I don't even know how you'd go about that.
So for putting water fittings on, what you're going to have to do is use the same principle as what we use in 3D printing, which is they use a nut insert in 3D printing, so it melts into the plastic. So you'll need to melt the plastic to put the nut in. No, I don't know a solution for it other than doing that. Have I ever done it before? No. I would just change the tank out for the sake of a couple of £100. I wouldn't spend the afternoon messing around with a sealed tank. I would change the tank out. There are solutions for level sensors for sealed tanks, but not for putting openings in, other than melting the tank that I know of.
Sean says, Darren, would you ever make gutter vacuums? I mean, define make. I think a lot of this industry is purchasing parts from other places and bolting them together.
So we've always sold industrial vacuums, right? Always, through various brands and various manufacturers. So at the moment, I can sell you a 3-motor Viper with a stainless steel tub, and all you got to do is attach it on some poles, where you can get your poles from somebody like Tom at CleanLink, and do that. Yes, I've considered importing poles. No, I think I would like to remain the jet wash specialist. It's like we do window cleaner stuff, but we only really advertise it in the way that we do it as part of a combination machine, if that makes sense.
Like an add-on or like a upsell.
Yeah. So we do gutter vacs as an add-on if you want complete kit, or you're local to us and you want us to look after it. We can also get the stuff from Julian. We've supplied GVS stuff to our customers. It's good quality. We like it. Julia's great. So we've done that. And we've also serviced and maintained all brands. But I think that I'm going to try and remain true to our roots and remain just a jet wash specialist.
I think that's a good choice. I think when people try and do too much, the whole thing gets a little bit diluted. I've been very conscious of that with my business and trying to be not a jack of all trades and sort of master of none.
Yeah, I agree with that. I also think that how can you trust somebody to be a professional at what they do if they do everything?
Mm.
I mean, everything.
Yeah, I mean, it's not to say that it can't be done. It's just it's unlikely that you're going to be at such a high level on every single thing you sell. Yeah.
Let's pick Sonia's company that she's gone to work for, right? All those companies put pressure on us as dealers because they do all cleaning equipment. So they do everything from pressure washers to vacuums to floor scrubber dryers to polishers. They do all of it. So what they do is they come around dealers like us and Ollie and all the rest of it, and they want us to do all their range. So they lean on us to do all of the range. And for a while, it's easy to get sucked into because you might pick up the odd job here and think, oh, that was nice money or all that. But then you find you haven't stocked all the bits for it because that isn't what you specialise in. So you're having to make the customers wait for it and all the rest of it. So as I've done my business longer, I've definitely slimmed it down and made sure that we're just jet wash specialists.
Mm-hmm. And also like giving the customer advice and stuff. It's like some of this stuff you need to know what you're talking about. And if the customer's asking you questions, you need to be able to answer them. And if it's someone else's kit and you're not too clued up on it, it's a bit of a recipe for disaster. Codzall says, when is Sausage Fest?
Right. Let's do weekend 11, 12 October. Sorry. Yeah, let's do weekend 11, 12. Do you want to do it on the Saturday or the Sunday, Jake?
For me personally, Sunday would work better. So the 12th of October, Sunday the 12th of October.
Nailed him. Meal at the Chinese on the Saturday night.
Ooh, sounds good. Does that work for everyone else?
Let's ask the question. Let's see if that works.
Sunday, 12th of October. Be Sure says, I'm in Lowestoft near Great Yarmouth. Do you have any way you'd recommend to get machines serviced?
Great Yarmouth's a tough one, isn't it? Because you're out in the middle of absolutely nowhere. Remind us in the Discord, and I'll find somebody who I'd recommend.
The bin cleaner says, would you ever consider designing a rig for bin cleaning? I feel like you'd do something like that, wouldn't you?
Yes, I've done it in the past.
Yeah.
The rig that I want to do is an automated rig. Problem is, it's 25-30 grand, and there's not many bin cleaners that have got 25-30 grand to spend on one.
They're a lot more complicated than I expected. When I first looked into bin cleaning, I thought, God, this is great. All you need is a little pressure washer and a tank of water. And it's like, actually, you need to be able to capture that water, filter it, recirculate it back into your machine, because you can't send any of that dirty water down the drain because it's illegal. And it's much more complicated than I expected.
Yeah, I like I say, we've done a couple. The one that I'd like to do a bit is an automated one, but I think the market is quite small, and at the moment, wait till the exterior cleaning dries up just a little bit more. Already, I'm seeing everybody jumping on window cleaning because 2 years ago they'd never clean a window in their life because it's below them, and now I see people that have said that publicly. Going out and getting window cleaning kit. Maybe they'll start doing bins too.
Not that there's anything wrong with cleaning windows or the people that clean windows.
I agree. 100. I'm. By the way, I'm on that side, right? I think there's nothing wrong with all of it at all. But I know people that have said that, and I've now watched them on FaceTube go and buy window cleaning kits.
But I will say it is a thankless job that you get no recognition for, that you can't charge enough money for. That is peasant's work. Joking. I'm joking about the last bit. Where's the bit?
You said no controversy. Don't upset anybody.
People know my opinions on window cleaning. It's not the window cleaners, it's the job itself. Doesn't pay enough.
Do you know what, right? I just do my own twice a year at home. I'm just not... I have had window cleaners in the past. It's not something I particularly feel like I want to spend a lot of money on.
And you only ever hear when something's gone wrong. I can imagine the customer will never say, "Oh, my windows look fantastic." I bet most of the feedback is, "Oh, you've left a few spots on the windows. I won't use them again."
I tell you what, right? For the first time in a very, very, very long time, we'd fixed a machine. So this was a farmer's machine. So it's an industrial hot mains machine, 3-phase machine. We fixed it, sent it back with Fester on the van. I couldn't do the fix on site. It needed to be brought back and it needed some acid running through it, some other bits and bobs. So we brought it back. We had it for 24 hours, turned it around, got it back to the customer because they're in the middle of busy season. And he rang me about 5 hours after it'd been back. And I'm thinking, oh, God, it's not gone wrong already. Jesus Christ. You know, we'd done a proper big repair on it and it was like mint when it left. But, you know, when your gut just sinks, like you've just cleaned somebody's drive and they ring you up that evening and you're like, you see the number on your phone and you're like, oh,
I've just had a text from a tarmac sealing job I did, and I told the lady, like, it looked good when it was wet, but please let me know if it looks patchy when it's dry, because I only saw it when it was wet. And she's just sent me some photos and a video, so it looks like I'm going back to do another coat.
Well, he rang me to say, thank you very much, it works brilliant.
Oh, nice.
You know, which is ace, really.
Someone said about go to bed, Jake knob, about the window cleaning. What was I going to say about window cleaning? That was it. My mom's been through. Oh, how shall I word this without it sounding rude? My mom's been.
We do a fresh subject because I think this is only a hole that you're going to dig yourself on this topic, and I probably shouldn't have brought it up.
Just a very quick one. My mum's had like 4 different window cleaners over the last 5 or 6 years, and part of the reason is because I think a couple of them did a shit job, like that left spots all over the windows and stuff, and just didn't clean them very well. And the other 2 were just unreliable, didn't turn up when they said they were going to turn up, and also just too much time between cleans, poor communication, all that sort of stuff. So I think it's quite a thankless job, and people only ever compliment you when you do something wrong. Next question. Are you good? 10 minutes, roughly.
Yeah, I'm still awake. I've still got a box full of goodies behind me.
Oh, yeah.
I brought like a box full of stuff. A heavy box as well. Brought like loads of stuff. It's like brought like parts of jet wash pumps and stuff that we can get out and show people and, you know, talk about, you know, if anybody had questions. I really came like super prepared, thinking I'd get like a question like, what is a turbo nozzle? So I brought like a turbo nozzle along, or, you know, I brought some different ones.
People are wondering what Sausage Fest is, so we come up with. Keep them out, Daz, because we'll have a look at them if you want.
Sausage Fest. Me and Jake were talking one night, weren't we, mate? And we said, Wouldn't it be good if there was a coffee in cars, but for jet wash people, and we could turn up and have a good social for the day, and maybe show your vans off, show your kit off,
show each other our sausages. No, eat sausages.
Well, the name came from the fact that we joked that we'd have coffee and a sausage sandwich, wasn't it? And then that's sort of how the name evolved, wasn't it? And then the thing evolved a little bit and became a relaxed mini show of kit stroke social, isn't it?
It was a very cool day. Cool to see how many people turned up. I was genuinely surprised at how many people were there. And
yes, me too. Well, that's because you're famous.
Sorry, you cut out there. Can you say that again?
I said that's because you're famous. You just want me to say it twice.
You've cut out again. Can you just say it again? No, it's a combination of, I think, my community getting together and wanting to have a little meetup, which was cool, and also your products, your expertise, the venue. I think just hosting it at PWS Towers was a cool move, and I think it was a net win for everyone. I think the people that turned up got something good out of it. It was they got their coffee, they got their sandwich, and they had a good chat with some professionals, got some good advice on kit. And yeah, I think it's definitely a good idea to do this as like a way to wrap the end of pressure washing season up every year, because you've got your cleaning expo at the start of the year, which I don't think you can compare this to the cleaning expo, but it's where else do you go throughout the year to sort of meet up and talk about exterior cleaning? There's not really a lot. There's not really a lot of events other than the expo, is there?
It was genuinely set up as well with a no sales approach intention. It was meant, and it still is meant to be a social.
I did bring a van full of products and sold very few.
Yeah. Well, it was not meant to be about that, was it? We did a bit of it, but I think I wanted to meet everybody. Everybody wanted to meet me. I wanted to see you. Because, I mean, we all love Soph. She's ace. Do you know what I mean? So, like, I don't think anybody was bothered about seeing you, Jake, but they all came to see Soph because she's good fun.
Mainly, yeah.
Mainly, yeah. We just had Maisie last year. We'd had her a week, hadn't we?
Mm.
And she came and she was good for the day.
Maisie's the dog, by the way, guys. Not a baby.
Yeah, dog. Right. I'm going to turn my blur. Right. So that now. So when I hold stuff up to the camera, we can see it. So then, Jake, we've got, right, a few bits. How many questions have we got before we do this?
About 5
questions. Do you want to, are any of them related to jet wash components, or shall we do just those 5 and then we'll have 5 minutes doing jet wash bits, because this is relevant to winter.
Okay. Where's the best place to buy reasonably priced hose reels? I've seen the MTM one, but it doesn't come with the hose. I want a single wire thin hose. Thanks.
Any of us, just ask the question. Ourselves, PWSAS, any of us. Work out which hose you want. Hose and hose reel. Ring up, ask the question.
Liam says, Darren, have you got a link to the wiring I need for the solar/battery bits? I think I'm going to move it to the back door.
No, but you know how to get in touch with me to sort it out.
Yeah, it's quite a specific question for your setup, really. Andy says, I bought a cheap machine for smaller jobs and it requires a mains feed. Is there a way to convert it to pull from a buffer tank? So it requires a mains feed in the
water feed.
Yeah, you've got to plug into the customer's tap. Can that suck? Okay. Can that suck from a buffer tank?
Should be able to. Obviously, not all machines suck from a tank. If it's a very, very entry level machine, it won't suck from a tank, but the others will. Important things are having an inlet with no air leaks. So the biggest problem with the Hyundai stroke JCB and that ilk of machine is the inlet that I talk about on one of my videos is rubbish, creates lots of air leaks and causes all of the trouble. You ditch that inlet off and run a proper fixed inlet and you don't have any troubles with it.
Is there anything to be said for one of those machines that aren't very good at sucking water being gravity fed? So as long as that buffer tank is full and the water line is above the height of the pump, will that then suck, or is it just not designed to do that?
No, it'll work. I'm talking more why people have problems when they connect it up to suck more than will it or won't it do it, if that makes sense. And it's usually because they're inexperienced, they've got little air leaks or little blockages and that kind of stuff. I think that most of them will do it. A head is always better for bleeding, but it's not essential.
The other thing I think is worth noting, I don't know what your opinion is on this, but I don't like suction hoses that go over the top of the bin and in the lid for two reasons. It means you've got to have your lid slightly open and you're going to get loads of crap in there and it's going to come through your pump if it's not filtered properly. But two, that hose has to be potentially even longer than it would do if it was just plugged straight into the bottom of the buffer tank. And three, I think a lot of people, when they're first starting the machine, they're not purging the hose correctly. And so you're running the machine dry for potentially 15 to 20 seconds before you purge all the air out of that hose going up and over the buffer tank. Whereas if you had one plugged in at the bottom, you can purge it straight away and then plug it in. You know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about?
Bigger problem is when they do the up and over with a hose that can collapse.
Yeah.
Not one that's got internal braiding. That's in my experience, the biggest problem with that setup is less about the purging. It's more, and that becomes a problem as the machines get older. It's more about the type of hose they use to chuck over the top. If it's a quality hose that goes over the top and it's got the braiding in it, the suction hose, it won't be a problem, but you will get that window of dry running.
Yeah.
Most pumps are built to withstand a certain amount of dry running, but the biggest problem is when the hose crushes over the top.
Mm-hmm. I also think it's messy. It's not very neat to just have this hose slapped in over the top. It doesn't really make sense to me when you can just bolt it into the bottom on a quick release. The Fresh Rinse says, is your scaffold tower ball valve in production now?
Yeah, I just haven't updated the website. Just order it.
Hey, that looks so good. Have you changed that since the expo, or is that the same product?
So this is just the one that we leave on the bench. It's actually grown a little bit here on the production ones, because what we found is if you run one of the bigger QR fittings on it, and the clearance to get your fingers in when there's a pole in there was quite difficult. But yes, just order one. You'll get it within under a week.
I noticed a few other suppliers have copied that idea now as well.
Oh, everybody's copied it.
I don't know whether that was that yours originally? Did you come up with that?
Yeah, no, we came up with that, and that's one of ours. Do you know what? It is what it is. I feel flattered when people copy stuff. What I've learnt this year is we release stuff and we get it out there and we talk about what we're doing and we give people ones to test and we do all our testing in a public place. And by the time we're ready to go into production, Joe Blogs has copied it and has already got theirs in production at the same time. Mm-hmm. So the next stuff that we release, and there's a bunch of game changers coming, we're going to wait until there's a bunch of them on the shelf that are ready to go the moment we say it's ready, it's released. And then everybody else can play catch up. So this is a prime example of something getting copied. So we released this and did the development with the customers as we were releasing it as a beta product. And by the time we'd honed it, every man and his dog had copied it. Mm-hmm. Nobody's improved upon it, by the way. They're all, in my opinion, they're all not quite as good as this in one way or another. But same principle. Some of them are cheaper as well.
Anonymous has posted, Darren, do you get people at your front door asking for autographs like Jake does? End of question time.
Sorry, you broke up. Do I get people at the front door asking for?
Asking for autographs like Jake does.
Do you know what, right? I knew I'd made it the other year, right? When a guy came in my shop and I was walking around busy doing stuff, right? And I heard him say as I walked past, he said to his friend that was there, he went, that's Darren, like whispering. Turned to me and said by somebody else turned around and he went, oh, it'd be brilliant if you got time to talk to me. And I'm like, of course I've got time to talk to you, you know. And he was like, honestly, the guy treated me like I was some kind of celebrity off Celebrity Love Island or whatever, you insert thing. And then he said to me, I went, I'm going to have to crack on. He said, before you go, he says, I'm not gay or out, but could I have my picture up with you? Probably happened to one.
Probably got a lot of that at the expo, though.
Say again?
Didn't you get a lot of that at the expo, though? People like
I got a lot of it.
Queuing up to meet you.
I've become really well known, but I'd like to think it's for the right reasons because I'm genuine. I give a lot of time. Like tonight, I give a lot of my time for free to help people along. I'm not overly particularly pushing anything that we do. I'm just trying to give you some sound advice to get on your way. Do you know what I mean? And a bunch of people have liked that and have decided, you know what, I'm going to stick with him. He seems like a sound guy. So, you know, I'm not complaining. I quite like it.
Do you want to pull out some goodies?
What do you want to see, Jake?
What have you got to offer?
Well,
what was that blue trigger you had?
Well, don't go to the bling first.
Sorry.
Let's do something technical, right? So one of the questions, I've bloody chewed my finger. One of the questions was about winter, right? And winterizing your machine, right? And this is an example of one of the ceramics, right? And these are fitted inside your machine. So imagine your pump is a engine, a car engine for a second, Jake. So I'm going to use a car engine as an example of what a pump is. And this here is basically your piston, right? So this is what goes in and out. When you freeze your machine, these are made out of ceramic and these crack. And this is the biggest killer of pumps in the winter. These are anything from 35 to 75 quid each, depending on the pump, plus the VAT. So then what you have is you have a piston like this. This is a typical seal or one of a pack of seals. This then, it's not the right size for this one, but the piston goes through the seal.
Are you going to do some naughty actions now?
No, won't fit. I've tried. They're two components. And then the other one, when people talk about their valves being stuck, that's a typical valve out of a jet wash.
And is it the spring that gets stuck? What is?
No, so the little flat that's in there. Oh.
This is very interesting. I'd like to know more about all this sort of stuff because I have no idea what's inside my engine, what's inside my pump, what's inside my gearbox. It'd be cool to get like a breakdown video. So
this little thing in here, this moves in and out.
Oh, yeah.
See that there? And what happens is you get a little bit of grit comes through and it holds the valve open like that. And that's what makes your machine either not suck water or machine gun. Mm-hmm. And that's because one of these is either stuck or broken. So
cool.
They're a cool little thing. So I thought I'd bring them along in case somebody asked about pistons and valves. I'm disappointed in the chat today, Jake, because nobody asked. So, I brought all the stuff and there were all questions about blingy bits, not the guts bits, but that's fine. I don't mind.
Someone did ask, never mind the choke, what about how to change my oil?
Oil is quite simple, isn't it? You undo
I think so. Yeah.
You undo the fit in the bottom, let it run out, and that's your oil done, isn't it?
Is it better to run the machine up warm and before you do that?
Always. So in our case, if we're going to service your machine for you, then the first thing we do before we service your machine we started up and run it and find out how well it works before we even attempt to start doing the bits off on it. And that has the added bonus of warming the oil up in advance. So when we do crank it, the oil just falls out, just like it would in a car. Right, I'm going to put these back in the box. Should we do water inlet fittings next, Jake?
Yeah, this is a good one because we get asked this question a lot in the Discord about, is it worth upgrading?
Yes, so there's two types of high flow water inlet fitting available on the market that are considered to be professional use. One of them is the NITO coupling, as defined by the actual marking that's on it. So it'll say NITO, which is this type. Brand new, so it's stiff.
Wait, that's not high pressure, is it?
No, this is low pressure.
I thought you just said high pressure, sorry.
Sorry, I meant to do low pressure.
That's okay.
What I brought these two for is this is your typical 3/4. I wanted just to demonstrate the difference with a 1 inch versus 3/4.
Bloody hell. I haven't seen one of them 1 inch ones before. Huge.
It's vast. And we fit these to our stuff, but they're just considerably bigger.
And would that go into... So would that be the suction side of the pump?
Yes, if you've got a suction hose going into a Bowser, this is what you'd use.
Right. Monster.
So that's pretty monster, isn't it? What do you want to look at? This gun?
And so obviously you'd need to pair that with a big chunky wire reinforced 1 inch suction hose. Oh, tell me about that Vario nozzle, because I really want one of these, but I don't think it's going to work with our kit, is it? Mine and Jakey's machines.
It'll work on Jakey's machine. So this one here, so this adapter here, so you know you will have seen, so that turns, look. So you know on your foot pedals, you see little adapters that go on the foot pedals that restrict the flow?
Mm.
That's all that is in line. So all this does is, you know, you talked about putting a smaller nozzle in your machine to give less flow. There's a gubbins inside here that basically restricts it back. So it makes a smaller nozzle inside here. So it lets less water out the end. And that's how you get your better clean.
And am I right in saying that doesn't work on all unloader valves?
It doesn't work as well on the K series.
I think that's what we've got, isn't it? K1s.
Yeah, it does work, but not as well. So and these are all brass. So these are brass in the end. I brought the blue one along because this is the all stainless version of the gun. So even inside the end of here is stainless. So if you use one of these a lot, you'll know that you wear inside these and this becomes loose and the stainless suffer less wear. Also, the gubbins inside here are all stainless.
Appropriate for soft washing as well, potentially.
And they do a version of this for soft washing, yeah. They do a version of it for soft washing. And then you've just got your traditional ST2600. Away you go.
I like what you've done with the inserts. Cool.
Yeah, so we can't make up our mind which way to go with the inserts, by the way. So we've done it both ways.
If you had a 1 inch inlet, will the pump head restrict the amount of water that goes through it?
Well, so the reason why we use a bigger inlet is not because of the restriction at the pump. It's because of the length of the pipe that you're going to suck the water down and the fact that you may put dimples in that pipe and restrict the pipe as you use it and it gets older. So by having a bigger pipe to start off with, you get less restriction. So if any of you run a 21.2 on a 3/4 hose, you'll know that if you just very slightly crease the pipe on a 3/4 21.2, it starts to restrict the performance of the machine. So in my opinion, either run 2 3/4 or 1 inch, so that not when it's brand new and everything's perfect, but it's for that month or 3 months down the road when it starts to get crushed. It's been in the van. It's been wrapped up. The bigger one just doesn't suffer that because it's bigger already.
300 quid though, aren't they? Says Daz. About the trigger. Is that the trigger? The Vario.
I think Varios. No, Varios are 100. I want to say 120 quid.
How about the stainless one? You might be talking about the stainless.
Similar money. ST2800. I don't even know if I've got them on my website or not. It might be 180 quid plus the VAT.
ST2800.
I think they're an ST2800. I think.
So I'm running a 2600 at the moment, aren't I? Has that got the cam inside? The easy press.
Yes, this has got the easy press in it. So the ST27. I think these are about 180 quid.
Is there anything better with regards to easy press that I could buy?
No, I mean,
because it's good. It's definitely better, but I'm wondering if there's anything even better than that.
So the guns are the next thing to go through an evolution, right? In my opinion, they're the next thing to get reinvented. So you've got a bunch of Italian guns that are out there, and the guns themselves may be better than those ST series, the actual guns themselves. However, the add-ons that you put onto the front of them to make them a Q connection are way worse than the factory Qs.
Yeah.
So they have the best Q connection on the front by a long shot. They'll give you the least trouble out of all of them. And the gun, in my opinion, is good to excellent, but not excellent, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
They're definitely better than average. They're well up there. Right. What other stuff have I got? I brought a load of those and everything, Jake.
Am I going to restrict the amount of flow/pressure I can put out of my machine by using a smaller hose?
Yes, potentially. There's a cut-off point.
At the moment, I think I've got like a 3... Oh, I don't know what I've got actually. Is it 3/4 or 1/2 inch? It's a twin wire. I've seen H2O are using the very thin ones, and they're still running like 30 litre per minute, 200 bar machines, but they're only using the thin hoses. So
they're definitely restricting it. They're not getting 30 litres out of that, not over distance. They need a 1/2 inch hose to do distance. You're right, the 30 litre is the crossover point between 3/8 hose and 1/2 inch hose.
Right.
So, 2 unloader valves.
But they're also lighter. I suppose it's lighter as well. That makes things a bit easier day to day.
Yeah. But why bother taking such a big machine with you? Sorry, I just brought some unloader valves along. Look.
So is that what I've got on the left? Is the K1?
You've got the K1, which is this one.
And why has that not got a cap on it? Do you need a needle valve for that one?
Yeah, so this one's fixed. So this one is fixed. So you set the pressure at factory, fix it, lock it off, and that's why you use an external valve to control the pressure.
Right.
These, and I did a video on these. I don't think I've got any tools here to demonstrate, but these you can wind up and down, and inside there's 2 lock-offs, and you set the pressure with the lock-offs. Absolutely critical on an electric machine, not so much on a petrol machine.
Can we agree that they are a terrible design?
What, unloader valves?
That twisty handle specifically is always in a very inconvenient place. You end up knocking your hand on the pump or on the gearbox or whatever, or on the frame or whatever it might be, and they always go stiff and become very hard to adjust. If that was a tap instead, don't you think a tap would be better?
Do you know why they become stiff?
Go on.
Because you don't use them.
Yeah.
They stay set.
Yeah.
So the threads stay set. Inside here, there's a ball and a spring at the bottom, and the spring pushes down hard on that ball that's inside there, and that's what generates the pressure. So that's lets the water through at a particular amount of pressure.
Mm-hmm. I'd like to see one that looks more like a garden tap, but I think that would be so much more ergonomic.
Inside here, you've got. Do you know what? Right, I'm just going to say it. these things really were never really meant to be adjusted by the end user, in my opinion. These should be set. So the minimum and the maximum should be set. You shouldn't be messing around with them. You should be using things like a needle valve. Or a
Yeah,
steel
I
valve.
like the needle valve because it's easy and it's simple.
There's a slightly different design one, look.
Yeah, I mean, even that, it's to try and, when it's stiff, to try and grip it and spin it, it's like plastic.
See,
and
this one's panel mount, right? So this here, you can mount it on a front panel.
Right.
So you just see that part of it
Yeah.
out the front, so you can twist and adjust.
I think if it's in the right spot, it's nice and easy. But if it's on top of the pump and it's in amongst all the other gubbins, it's quite difficult to get to.
Think about it, on your wheeled machine, where else is it going to go?
Yeah, I understand. I've just found that every time I've tried to adjust my old one on my Kiam, it was just a nightmare to try and adjust. And I know a lot of other people, they don't know which way they're spinning it. Sometimes they just lock all together, and you've got to strip it apart and rebuild it. It's just, I don't think they're very good. You need to lift your hand up a bit more. There we go. So
and your high pressure fitting.
I get a lot of questions about these high pressure fittings. Your camera quality is just like massively improved all of a sudden.
I've just zoomed it out, so it was set to face track me and do all sorts of things.
Oh, it looks a lot better now.
So yeah, so the Mini is the one that you'll find at nozzle end. If you brought a cheap machine, you'll probably find it's got the MIDI fittings.
That's what I first started with.
Yeah. And then the more premium equipment has the bigger stuff.
That's what
And the
you
difference-
upgraded to mine. And honestly, I've not had a single O-ring issue since in 2 years.
It's a big difference. So the sizes of them look.
Up a bit. It's the triple O-ring that I think is the most significant improvement. Obviously, bigger, more capacity for flow, but there's 3 O-rings in there, aren't there? And
Yes.
literally, when we were ragging my machine, that one on the left, I'd go through at least an O-ring a month on either the hose or the trigger or the ball valve that I was using. Since I upgraded to the ST2600 Q trigger and those connections, I haven't had a single O-ring issue.
It was a good day. It was a good day.
It was.
What else here? Oh yeah, the must have one of these in your kit box.
The stubby Q.
Ignore the nozzle that's in it, but a stubby Q must have one of them. They're the most important piece of kit to go with your shotgun. Whether you're using an X-Jet or a nozzle, this is just brilliant. I love them.
Good question for you, related. Is there anything that can be done to reduce the vibration on the triggers, the guns, lances? Something like a dampening handle. I have the Vibro X, which helps, but after a few hours of working, I feel the vibration.
You're going to have to wear gloves.
Well, before we get to that point, I think there's a few things that could be done. This is something you taught me, Darren. Hard fixing your turbo nozzle onto the end of your lance. Instead of having it as a quick release, you can remove that quick release adapter and screw the turbo nozzle directly onto the end of the lance. You're reducing all that wobble, and that's probably the main thing causing the vibration. If you've already done that, you want to work backwards, check for leaks, check for... What else would you check for, Darren, with regards to vibrations?
You know what, right? I'm just going to say, once you've done the basics, so if you've been through, you've got, like you said, no leaks, you've got the correct size nozzle, your machine's set correctly, you're running things like the Vibro and the other bits and bobs that you can do, the feeling that you're getting left, you're going to struggle to get rid of. if you turbo nozzles generate their own vibrations, and it doesn't matter which brand you use. A lot of it's in people's minds. Do you know what I mean? Oh, I'll have this brand, and then 6 months later, oh, I'll have a different brand, and then 6 months later they go back to the other brand again. I see it all the time. I think that there is with this type of kit a certain amount of vibration that you're going to have to live with. A more padded gun would be nice, but I think that moving to an anti-vibration glove, especially now winter's coming and it's going to be cooler, probably wouldn't be too much of a wrong thing to do.
Mm-hmm. How you doing for time? Do you want to wrap it up?
I'm still awake. I'll do till past if you want.
Okay. Have we got any other questions? Ideal for bin cleaners, a design to allow disinfectant to be sprayed from the same lance as the water. Yeah, we sort of went through chemical injectors.
Bin cleaning really easy.
Because it's a short hose.
Easy. Yeah, short hose. It exists. I can already do it. I mean, cool things that we did on Festa's van is we used a rollover nozzle so he could switch between two nozzles without actually taking it out the end of his gun. So he pulled the trigger and it worked out of one nozzle, let go of the trigger, flicked it, pulled it again, it came out the other. You could have disinfectant that easily. Festa used it to have 2 different size and 2 different degree nozzles in. So we had one that was high pressure, short fan for deep clean, rocked it, and it went to a 40-degree big nozzle for rinsing. And he never used to have to take the gun out at the end.
Cool. Question from me. I'm thinking about potentially installing a solar panel and some sort of, is it an inverter where you can use like a 3-pin plug?
Yeah.
Is that what that's called? Yeah. I don't want to put it on the roof because I've got a bunch of different ladders up there. I've got like 4 sets of ladders up there. Could I get away with fitting a solar panel to the side of my van? Would it have a massive detrimental effect not being facing up towards the sky?
I would fit a split charge unit.
Go on.
I wouldn't fit a solar panel. If you can't put it on the roof, I wouldn't bother. It's not worth the aggro. I would just fit a real good quality high amp split charge unit. So the moment you drive your van, it's putting serious amounts of current into the battery in the back and charging it up.
Right. And would that be a leisure battery that you'd put in the back?
Yeah, but you want 2 or 3 batteries if you're going to run a decent size inverter. What are you thinking of running off your inverter?
I'm mainly thinking for the winter and the heat and stuff. I'm thinking about heaters. It'd be nice to be able to charge batteries, drill batteries and my leaf blower batteries. It'd be nice to charge your phones in the back of the van while we're working, that sort of stuff.
Yeah. I two leisure batteries, split charge unit. We'll do that.
And split charge comes from the engine on the van, and
comes from your van battery. Charges the batteries up in the back, and I would attach your jet wash to the same batteries as them. So whenever you're running your jet wash, it's also charging those batteries.
And that won't have a detrimental effect on the van battery.
Shouldn't do, no.
And have you fitted those before?
Yes, did one this week.
I think I'd like that. I wonder if we could set that up for Sausage Fest if you got capacity. You're probably not going to want to be busy on Sausage Fest doing stuff for me.
No, but we could do it on the Saturday before if you came up in the afternoon.
Ooh.
Save doing double trips. We could make a go out for the Saturday. I'll probably have Sean popping round on the Saturday too to do his PB, so we could double it up and do some media at the same time. Could be fun.
Cedars has just had an incredible idea in the chat. Can you look at stocking a lance-mounted flashlight for commercial cleaners working night shifts? That is a cool idea.
Oh, in fact, I will get, if we work out what size torch we want, like this type of thing. If we work out what size torch, I'll get the mounts made within 2 weeks, so you can have them on the end of your lance. Somebody send me the torch that you want to use for it. Recommend one. I'll get the mounts made. We'll call it the Cedar Light.
Cedar Light.
And we'll pay him a penny royalty for each one we sell.
That would look insane at night. All the mist from the pressure washer lit up.
Yeah. Let's do it orange, right? And I'll give you a penny royalty too, Jake. And we'll put a GoPro mount on the top of it too, so you can put your GoPro on the top of the torch, attached on your lance, clipped on.
The issue I've found with putting a GoPro on the lance is the vibration through the lance makes the picture terrible. Unfortunately.
Can you not buy a better quality GoPro that's got the image stabilization on? It's
not enough.
Okay.
Unless you could have like a stabilized mount, which would be cool. I'm sure you could figure that out. Is the Vibro X the soft start swell used Sid's setup recently on roof and made a massive difference? The soft start isn't down to the Vibro X, is it? It's down to the unloader valve, is that right?
Not quite. When you use the two together, you get a really, really slow start. So when you pull the trigger, when you pull the trigger on your machine goes burr, burr.
Mm-hmm.
You know, as it comes in, it goes soft then more.
Yeah.
When you use it with the Vibro X, it goes comes up really gentle.
Right.
On motion. Really good for roof cleaning. Exceptional for roof cleaning.
Mills, Tracy, welcome. How you doing? Mills says, I've got 3 solar panels on the roof. I'd like an inverter also, but wondering what size lithium battery to get. Currently have a 100 amp hours one. How much do you think I would need for running my gutter vac?
How long do you want to run your gutter vac for?
Can you run a gutter vac from a battery? That seems...
Yes, no, I've done it. 300 amp hour batteries give you around 20 to 30 minutes of running a gutter vac. Then they're dead.
I don't think I'd want to even bother, personally. I think to run a gutter vac, you just get a generator. I think the risk of running out of battery, I mean, it's bad enough with my leaf blowers, my leaf blower that's now battery powered. I've got 2 batteries for that, and if I run out, I'm stuffed.
I think there's better ways of running big gutter vacs.
Yeah.
In all honesty, I would only ever have my van set up like that as an emergency if something else went wrong.
Lewis says, I emailed PWS about organising and having a good look over my kit. Could you ask Darren to what extent they go to with organising my kit in the van?
Best example of that is the video I did earlier on this week, where somebody been and brought a bunch of stuff from auction with basically the MO was utilise as much of the stuff as I brought from auction. And we went through everything. We didn't sell any of the parts. We did the whole lot. We'll do whatever you need us to do from wherever it's been brought from.
Cool. Does someone have to book in for that, or did they just turn up and you figured it out on the day?
Booked in because it was a day's work.
Yeah.
So we now... So at PWS generally now, 2 or 3 of the members of staff are block booked for work, and the book's scheduled in, and there's usually just one of us floating to do ad hoc stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But if you watch, Lewis, if you go on our YouTube or TikTok, you'll see a video I've done this week, a short video, 2 minutes long, where somebody brought an X-Line system, a steam cleaner, and they wanted it, and a bunch of hose reels, and they wanted it all sticking in the van on the... It was a cheap job, but there's nothing wrong with that neither. So I'm not talking it down when I say that. It was just, we don't know what we're doing. We brought all this kit. We want you to professionally fit it, but please use, you know what I mean? There's no budget for new reels here because it suits us. Please reuse as much stuff as possible. So in all of that kit was a split charge relay that we put in to charge the batteries up in the back.
Cool. Nathan says hi. Hi, Nathan. Cedars has just had another absolute banger of an idea. I would also like to see some submersible lighting with tanks to help see in the water level in conjunction with the volume sticker to indicate how much water you have.
There's already solutions on Amazon for this. You can buy water level kits. If you're prepared to spend the 50-100 quid, there's already solutions out there. Just nobody spends money on it.
I think it's a very cool idea because the back of your van's presumably a little bit dark when you're running it, and all of these tanks, even the clear ones, are cloudy, so you can't see what's in them. And then when they're old, they get a bit dirty, and so to be able to drop in a light that floats on the top and that shows you the level constantly, already hooked up to your battery, would be absolutely brilliant. Such a good idea. And a cool solution. Cool solution to the problem as well, I think. Niho, I did see your messages earlier, mate, and I hope you're doing okay. And thank you for watching.
Where are we? Just trying to find. Somebody sent me the link to one the other day. There's a little sensor you can buy that goes in the tank that tells you liquid water oil level.
Green lights, Darren. Yeah, that's a good idea. Get a hot tub light. Yeah, I mean, as long as it's not battery powered, because I don't want to have to lean in, turn it on.
Put a link in the chat. I don't know if you can click on that.
If you can do it without, so it automatically turns on when your machine starts up, that would be absolutely sick. You put a link in my chat. Oh, you can't. You can't put links in the YouTube chat. You can put it in this chat, in the Discord if you want. Right. Yeah, I got it. Thank you.
Just an example of it's just the first one that's come up, but the solutions do exist.
Digital oil tank level monitor. It hasn't linked me to a specific product. It's just sort of linked me to the page.
Oh, apologies. I've clicked on the wrong thing then.
It's okay.
Bear with me. There, that's it. Right. How do I share that link?
Just do the same.
Just looking for the right button to make sure I get the actual link for the product.
Just the top bar. The URL.
See if this one works. Try that. This one happens to go to an app on your phone, but they do them where you can have a gauge on the front.
48 quid.
You can get these with a gauge. You can just put the gauge on the front of your tank.
How does that get ultrasonic contactless? So it doesn't even submerge in the water. It just sends out ultrasonic waves and then measures the distance.
Basically, yeah.
That's pretty cool. How does it know how big the tank is?
I've sent you a link to something really quickly, just to prove that that's something that already exists. It's not necessarily the one I would use. Mm-hmm. I just wanted to show an example of the solution already exists. It's just a matter of finding the right one.
Cedar says, I used a fishing light LED and it was good, but I want Blackpool illumination so I can change the colours for Christmas. That's a cool idea, man. I think Cedars is the type of guy that's going to have some industry changing. I'm not going to say the other word. Some industry changing ideas.
For that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you going to have some more? Are you going to have some brought to Sausage Fest?
I don't think anyone's going to buy T-shirts from me. You think just give them away?
Do you want to know the first thing I sold off my stand at the expo last year?
Was it a green hat?
T-shirts and hats.
Was it really?
Straight up. Honest to God, I've never witnessed anything like it where I became an apparel store.
I would love to do merch, but I would hate to put all that time and money and investment into it for no one to buy anything. So I just think it'd be very disappointing and a bit heartbreaking. I don't think I've got a big enough audience to do merch yet. Maybe one day.
If I can sell T-shirts, so can you. You've got a much bigger audience than me.
Mm.
Worst case scenario, just buy them in your own size. And then if you have to, you've got a year's worth of supply of clothes to wear.
True. Very true. Should we wrap it up, Darren? I think we've come to a nice natural end
We
point.
have. There was only one note that I'd spotted, and it's one of my favourite topics. Somebody mentioned in the chat about how they were struggling with their mental health.
I did see that. That's why I mentioned he's gone now. That's why I mentioned.
All I'm going to say is we all struggle. You're not alone. Even the people that you think are the strongest people or appear to be strong people, they're quite possibly struggling too. It is definitely it's something that I've struggled with this year. I think it's why I've had a time out from social media. I think it's why Sid's had time out from social media. For me personally, I needed to get away from it. I was finding some of the stuff was weighing on me more than it should have done.
Living in your brain rent free.
Yeah, just when people copy your shit and stuff like that, you end up giving it more time than it's worth. And I'm not that kind of person. That's really flattering that somebody thinks that something I've done is worthy of copying, and I stand by that. But when you're feeling a little bit tired, or you're letting stuff get on top of you a little bit, or work perhaps isn't where you want it to be, suddenly something that wouldn't normally be a problem suddenly becomes a big problem in your own head. It wasn't necessarily that type of thing for me, but I've definitely struggled this year more than ever, which is why especially having August off has really made a big difference to me. I've come back, I feel really refreshed. I feel quite happy again. I feel ready to go. So,
just to add to that, I've never felt as good as I do now with regards to clarity, headspace. I've lived my life being very paranoid and anxious, and I can attribute a lot of that to too much drink and lack of exercise, just lack of physical stimulation, I suppose. And now that the two things that have transformed my life this year and have made me do things that I wouldn't have normally done is quitting alcohol, and I've just recently started the gym, and I feel better than ever. The alcohol thing took a while for me to sort of understand the difference it's made to my brain and my thought process and stuff, but it's definitely helped, and I'm losing less time. I'm making much more much better use of my time. I'm not waking up feeling crap on a weekend when I'm supposed to be spending time with the kids. I'm not impatient.
Hey, this Sunday, so eldest, the rugby player, each year they make them redo their county tryouts for the county and England programme, which is a bit rubbish because I think once they've started the programme, they should be assessing them on the fly, and if they need to, drop them as and when. They shouldn't make them go through the pressure of trying out. So we woke up early Sunday morning and we went down the park for a run and a throw of the ball. I don't think I've never done that. Do you know what I mean? I'm particularly at the moment, I'm feeling good. My head's in a good place. I don't think I'm not as happy. I'm happier inside, but I'm not giving the happy persona out to everybody like I was. And I think that's because I was perhaps overcompensating for not being perhaps the happiest person in the world.
Oh, that's a very quite a deep realization that you wouldn't expect to just come up with that on your own. Has someone told you that, or have you just figured that out?
No, I've noticed it looking back.
That's very self-aware.
I'm at the moment going through an awareness phase. I'm also, as we talked about, it's no secret, but my weight loss is attributed to the fat jab, and dieting and exercise. But it's definitely messing with my brain cells, which is why I've been through this phase of I feel depression and some other things that have happened, and it's making me look at things differently. My brain isn't functioning the way it was functioning. But I'm finding a happy place with what's going on. I'm in a good place. I feel like I'm in a good place. Sunday morning was a perfect example of how, even if sometimes it doesn't feel like it, I'm in the best position in my life I could ever be.
Mm-hmm.
I've got Sunday morning out with my kids. And you know, little cow though. I said to her, right, I said, we're going to practice. I said, we're going to kick the ball, the rugby ball. I said, we're both going to run for it. I said, but I'm going to tackle you as if I'm a player coming at you. I said, oh, Dad, you can't do that because like, I might get injured and today's an important day. So I'm like, right, no tackling then. She went, right, no tackling then. So anyway, we get to the ball at the same time. So I've kicked it in a way that was advantageous for me, obviously, because I'm competitive. And as I go for the ball, she comes inside and absolutely nobbles me in the middle of the park, on my arse, legs up in the air, the whole lot. And at the time, I'm like, I'm getting a bit goosebumps doing it. I'm like, I feel at the moment like the richest guy in the world. I've had August off with my kids. I feel really good. Oh, here we go. What age is Daz? 46. I'm not that old. I look older than what I am. I went grey really young. If you look at my wedding photos, I was grey in my wedding photos at 30.
There was some advice in a podcast I listened to recently, and he said, try and figure out why the best days were your best days. So it's like, what did you do on those days that made you so happy? That people tend to focus on the negatives and why they're so miserable and why they've had a bad day and all that sort of stuff. But you very rarely stop and think, why was that day so good? And he said, I think he says it's something like, I worked out with people I enjoy being with. I got some work done, and then I ate with people that I enjoy eating with. It's like those four things. It's like that's his recipe for a good, positive day. And I've been trying to think like that. Like, what do I need to be in a good mood by the end of the day? What's the process? And it's good to sort of try and lay it out like that, because then you can focus on having good days.
Yeah.
And in your situation, it sounds like you just need to spend the morning with the kids.
It's just I've had a really good. Without oversharing, it's late. All right. I started to get, back in March, April, this overwhelming feeling that all of a sudden I might croak it. All right. There was nothing wrong with me health-wise. There was nothing to prompt it. It wasn't like, oh, I've got something wrong with me, I found a lump. Nothing like that at all. It's completely in my own head. And I started to look back and go, what are my girls' memories going to be of me? And it is absolutely working my knob off and not being at home all the time. And they're going to just remember a dad as that guy that was always at work. And that really, really, really played on my mind. And just and I said to both of them, I said, look, let's do something to make memories this summer. Nancy, if you could do anything in the world and I could make it happen for you, what would you like to do? 12-year-old girl, Dad, I want to go and see AC/DC. And I'm like, well, I've got no idea if they're in concert. I wouldn't know. So I have to ring a friend who's an AC/DC fan, and he's like, you wouldn't believe it, but they're in concert in August. I'm like, oh, brilliant. Get me a ticket. He said, you can't. They're all sold. So I'm like, oh, shit. So I end up having to buy like a scalp ticket. So I got absolutely murdered with that. And I managed to fulfill her dream. And you know what? Just me and her went, Sonia didn't come. Belle didn't come. Just me and Nancy took the camper van to Edinburgh. We went to AC/DC. We stayed in a nice hotel on the night there. We actually got let down with our transport. I'll let you know how good the network is. We got let down with our transport in Edinburgh for getting back to the hotel. And Sean from Christie's Guttering Services came to the rescue at midnight and ferried us back to our hotels.
No way.
Straight up.
That is this community, like, all over, that is.
It's community all
brilliant.
the way in. I can't thank him enough. He came to the rescue. We were going to try and have breakfast together. It just didn't work out. Timings just didn't work. But we did manage to get to see each other for that period of time.
That's brilliant.
And then we went to the Fringe Festival and we did some other stuff while we were up there, and it was fantastic. Do you know what I mean? And then I said to Belle, what do you want to do if you could do anything? She went, Dad, because she's been doing track days with me this year, I really want to go to the Nürburgring. So I'm like, right, well, that one I can make happen. That's easy. The Nürburgring, that's not a problem. I'd enjoy that. And Sonia had said to me, look, instead of trying to take one of your Clios, because since we've last spoke, I've collected a few Clios. The last one, I did tell Sonia I'm going to fetch some car parts. I just neglected to tell her they were still attached to a car. So I've got 3 Clios now. She said, instead of taking one of your cars, she said, why don't you take the camper van and rent a race car when you're over there? So I did a bit of research, found that there was a company that had got a pink Mini, right, stripped out as a race car. And I'm like, you know what? Taking Belle out, that'd be amazing. Well, anyway, that ended up manifesting into Fantasia Land, and the other kid came, and it was just fantastic. So in the end, we had our family holiday at the start of August. I did a little bit of time in the middle of, at the start of August at work, the rest of the time off. At the moment, I feel very blessed. I feel amazing. My bank balance is shot, but I feel absolutely amazing. For the first time, for as long as I can remember, I feel really good. And I'm ignoring work pressures. We've all got our own pressures at work, regardless of the size of your business, whether you're a small business and you're worrying about where your next job's going to come, or you're a big business and you're wondering whether your commercial clients are going to pay you at the end of the month so you can pay your bills and all the wages bills. We've all got stress, and being self-employed is extremely rewarding when it goes right. Forging your own destiny is the most rewarding thing you can do in life. It's like cutting the shackles of the system. It's fantastic. But at the same time, it is the most mentally, sometimes physically draining thing you can do. And you have to be incredibly strong. I'm going to say bloody minded at times to push past some of that stuff.
Resilient.
Resilient, that's a good word. And even, what have I been self-employed for now? 20 years now. Even at 20 years in, I think the pressure is as great now as it ever was. But I'm ignoring that at the moment. I'm having a good time.
Yeah.
A big to all of you that are out there. If ever you want to come and have a coffee and just have a chat, I'm always at work 9 to 5. Even it doesn't have to be about equipment. You can just come and I'll share my woes with you. You can share yours. A problem shared is a problem halved.
Cedars has just said something very poignant. The only thing more exhausting than having a mental illness is pretending like you don't.
I just don't.
I think the natural progression in life and the natural expectation for a lot of people is, I just need to figure out how I can make as much money as possible. And I think people forget, in that process, they forget what makes them happy and healthy and what makes them feel good. And sometimes you put your careers and your money over what your body actually needs.
Yeah, honestly, it does. My Facebook's reminding me today. 5 years ago, I had my fancy Porsche, and I had my fancy life, and I had, we were doing less. How can I describe this now? When we were doing our commercial work, we were doing significantly greater profit significantly than what we're doing now. And when I say now, I mean the last 3 years. So 5 years ago, I'd got me fancy. And you know what? I was just miserable. I was working all the time and I was just miserable. I enjoy making the green stuff. I enjoy fabricating stuff. I'm finally finding a balance with staff and stock and levels and how to develop it and put it out and, all that kind of stuff. And I'm finding peace with some of the things that go on around me. And I'm finally, with work in a happy place, but the stresses still remain really high. Money isn't everything. He says while sat here talking to you off a 4K camera on a 2 gig internet connection in my really nice leather chair.
I need a new chair.
I had to buy a fat person's chair, Jake, because at the time I needed a fat person's chair. But soon, tell you how close I am. I'm just in a 3XL now, which means that give it another couple of weeks, I will be in high street clothes for the first time in 25 years.
Congratulations. Do you feel healthier?
No, I don't feel any different, mate. But on Sunday, I was able to run with the kid and be top of the hill. And on holiday, I was the first one walking anywhere because if ever you've picked up a tub of... okay, it's not quite 2 tubs of hypo, but the easiest thing I can describe is imagine holding a tub of hypo in each hand and then trying to walk up some hills. That's nearly what I've lost.
That's actually crazy because hypo tubs are insanely heavy.
Yeah, okay, so that's 40 kilograms and I've lost 30. But they look expensive.
I want fabric, I don't want leather or leatherette.
Oh, don't have fabric. They store your trumps. They smell like bums and they store your trumps. Get leather.
Nah, leather's too sweaty. And you slide around too much. My new car's got leather, and I'm still undecided.
What car you had? You flash git Jaguar.
Yeah.
Jag. So family car, estate.
No.
Saloon. Is it the V8?
Might be.
Have you had the XK or V8 or whatever it is?
It's the XJR.
Is it the R?
Yeah.
Why are you coming the ring in it? What's wrong with you?
Silly one. I'm scared. I'm scared to take it anywhere at the minute. I'm being very careful where I park it. And we went to Aldi the other day, and I was panicking because it's so long that the nose of the car kind of goes over the path where people are pushing their trolleys past. And we were about to walk into the shop, and I said to Sophie, I can't. I either need to move the car or I need to go and sit in it. And she said, just go and sit in there. I can go in the shop. And I had to go back to the car and sit in it to make sure no one hit it with the trolley. How sad is that?
Is it, how can I put this without prying? Is it one of the more expensive things you've ever purchased in life?
It's the most expensive thing I've ever bought. And it's totally unnecessary.
That feeling I'll pass. Don't worry. You're only precious about it till you get your first scratch on it. Better still, preempt the scratch, go out and key it yourself, and then you'll be over it.
Well, I'm not going to do that, am I? I've done nothing but wash it for the last 2 weeks. And it's white, and so it just gets dirty the next day, and it's just a bit soul-destroying.
That'll be good for a track day, then. If you get some decent tyres on it, that'll be fun.
It's already got some good tyres, yeah. It's just...
It's got P4Ss.
I don't know. I remember looking at them thinking I recognise that name. That's a good tyre. And they're all matching, which is good.
It means it's been looked after.
They're bloody massive as well.
We'll take the clear out again, because hung up behind me are my 2 hats for when I go do my track days.
I've already booked it in to have the supercharger pulley. They can do a smaller supercharger pulley, so it spools up. So it spins faster. And then they're putting the valved exhaust on it, so it opens up the exhaust so you'll be able to hear it. and you'll have a button on the key where you can open it and close it, so you can make it quiet and loud, which is very cool. And then they're going to remap it, and by the time they're done, they reckon it's going to be over 600 brake, which is just insane. Cool. It's the fastest car. Already, it's the fastest car I've ever driven or been in, and it's going to get faster. And it's just absolutely bonkers.
For those coming to Sausage Fest, there is a local go-kart track we could go to if you wanted to do it on the Saturday afternoon.
That sounds brilliant. We should definitely do that.
I could book that. We could arrange that on the Discord. I'd rather it be a good social, to be honest, than what it was meant to be. That's what it was always meant to be, a good social. I would rather it be a good social.
I've got my stag do coming up this weekend, and
thanks for the invite.
I've literally got like 5 people going.
All the more reason. I went out to Portugal for a wedding the other month. Because Chris did that thing where he says, do you want to come to my wedding? Yeah, Chris, where is it? He went, Portugal. Yeah, I'll come. It'll be brilliant. And then a year later, I had to bloody pay and go to Portugal to his wedding, didn't I?
Oh, dear.
It's a brilliant time. I wouldn't have missed it for the world. I'd tell that story like I didn't want to go. I really did want to go. We had a brilliant time.
We've got...
when are you getting married then? When's the date?
8th of January. That's another thing. So if I hadn't have quit drinking, I'd have never proposed to Soph, because I was dead against the idea of getting married, because I was in such a headspace where everything was negative. There was no point in doing anything. And
that's Soph for you. I mean, who else is going to tell you what to do if Soph wasn't around?
But anyway, we've got go-karting booked.
And Jake quickly moves on to the next topic.
we've got go-karting booked, and we've got quad biking booked as well.
Oh, that'll be exciting.
And we're staying in some like wooden yurts, and we've got like barbecue pits and stuff, so it's going to be very cool. We're not having like strippers. We're not going out. We're just having a nice quiet barbecue. Go on.
So for many years, my nickname was Dodgy Dazzler. Right. Long story. Why I ended up with that nickname. But it kind of, if you squint, sounds a bit like Bobby Dazzler.
Mm-hmm.
So my mates decided it would be fun to dress me up as David Dickinson. I have picture evidence of this, suntan and everything. And we went to Weymouth and we did It's a Knockout on Weymouth Beach on all the inflatables with all my stag party. We raised, I think it was about 2,600 quid for charity. And then we went out and got absolutely wasted in Weymouth Town Centre, including spending the 3/4 of the night in the Gentleman's Club.
Lovely.
But It's a Knockout, Weymouth Beach.
I didn't want to do anything nutty. I just... not even since I've stopped drinking. I don't enjoy nights out, I've realised, after...
You've done a nutty thing. You brought the car. That's your nutty thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just I'm 33 now, and I've spent the last 15 years sort of drinking quite heavily, and I've realised when I go out to clubs and stuff. This is why Craig was organising a night out, and I'd realised that I wouldn't enjoy it. Being around a bunch of drunk people with loud music, the place is busy. It's my worst nightmare. I couldn't think of anything worse.
Have you not noticed it's why I always drive everywhere?
Mm. Yeah, I mean the Pure Seal thing. I mean that was, I think, was it a Christmas party? I can't remember. Pure Seal Christmas party. That was similar. It's like I weren't drinking that night, so Soph had a drink, and I just sort of spent the evening. Just feeling very anxious and feeling very far away from home and feeling like I'd have to sort of look after Soap, even though she didn't even get drunk. It's just like a anxiety fueled recipe for just, not good. So I tend to avoid it now where possible.
No, they're asking about the Clio in the chat. If anybody wants to see the Clio, just add me personally on Facebook or ask me in the Discord. I'll send you some pictures.
The bin cleaner I think he's probably about half an hour behind because some of his questions have been related to stuff we spoke about earlier.
Okay. Well, when he gets to this bit of the video, he can Google what a meglio is, because that's what one of mine is.
There you go. Darren, let's wrap it up because I'm desperate for a wheat again.
Yeah, and I need to go because it's 11 o'clock and I've got to be up in about 10 minutes with the kids because they have to get up and be prepared for school now. Jake, really enjoyed tonight.
I've really enjoyed it. It's been a pleasure. It's been nice to catch up again.
I've missed you. Love and hugs and all that.
You too.
Have a good time at your stag.
Thank you.
I'm not upset I didn't get an invite at all. I won't bring it up ever again.
No one got an invite.
Only every time I see you, I'll go, how did the stag do go? I didn't want to go anyway, you miserable git.
Sausage Fest, the 12th, Sunday the 12th of October, is that right?
Yeah. I'm going to write it in the chat now. So we've got our personal chat.
And we'll potentially do something on the Saturday afternoon before. Yes.
And we'll arrange that through the private Discord, so you've got to be in it to win it.
Yeah. If you're not already, if you're not in the Discord, what are you doing? Hit the join button below this video and get yourself joined up at the Discord, because that's where all the magic happens.
Or else Jake's going to play that little VT when he goes roll VT, and he'll tell you that these videos take a lot of time to do and produce. Please give me £2 a month. So I don't have to work down the mines again like the little old donkeys that can't get up.
It's more than that.
Is that right, Jake?
Yeah. For just £5 a month, you can also be a member. Darren, it's been a pleasure, mate.
Talking about that, the one with the donkeys, they actually made me years ago. They brought one on, and they said, Jacob is a donkey, and he's got friends, and he goes to work, and sometimes when he comes home from work, his friends don't come home too. For just £2 a month, you can save Jacob from this life of misery. Jacob's a donkey, and I'm like, oh no,
that's horrible.
And I sponsored the donkey for a year.
Oh, Lewis has got a Glanzer. Cool, 302 at break. Jesus.
Oh, Lewis, Darren, you need to ask me, by the way. I've got a separate WhatsApp group just about arranging track days together. So just send me your number and I'll add you to the group. And we've been to a couple of things. We're doing a coffees and cars next soon.
I'd be up for that if you're open to invites. Just invite myself.
No, it's an open group. There's a bunch of just like-minded people from within the industry.
Sounds good. I'm down.
Thank you, everybody.
Sid's just got a Audi TT V6, I think, 3-litre V6.
Who has?
Sid.
Oh yeah, he said he was going to get one.
Yeah, he's just got one. Right. Good night. Thank you so much for watching. Darren, thank you for joining me. It's been a pleasure.
Take care.
Goodbye. Guys, thank you as always. Feel free to like the video because it definitely does help promote it to more people. And if you're not already, I mean, look at this. Look at this thing. You're missing out. If you're not in the Discord, you're missing out on exclusive videos from Matt, and he's absolutely on one these last couple of days. He's a new person. He's posting reels. He's rapping. He's twerking. It's like nothing you've ever seen. There's so much good advice in here, and proud announcement. We've just got Leanne from Smart Seal has just joined, so now we officially have a sealing professional in the Discord, which I think it's something we've been missing for a long time. There's people that have done sealing and that are quite experienced with sealing, but Leanne is going to be there to answer all of our sealing questions to the best of her ability. So we've got so many professionals here now. We've got Ben from Rutland Pumps. We've obviously got Darren. We've got CleanLink. We've got Julia from Gutter Vacuum Systems. We've got Steve Shires. That's probably going to be a couple I'm missing out. There's Mike from Newtech, affiliated with Pure Seal. There's going to be a few I'm missing out. I can't remember. Thank you all for watching. I'm